Okay.
All right. Hi. How you doing?
I'm, I'm doing well, thanks you. I'm doing well.
I'm great. So what time is it over there? Where are you?
I'm in England.
England. And okay. What time is it over there? It's like
It's
10, right?
10:30. Yeah,
10:30?
10:30. Yeah, 10:30.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, because I trade the markets over there and I trade Tuesday through Thursday. So I trade London session. 2 to 5, my time.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's 2
Okay.
a.m. when I start trading.
Well, you are a music creator. You guys normally are like vampires. So.
Vampire.
Yes.
Yeah, pretty
Yeah.
much.
Yeah. Okay. Well, at least I'm glad
I'm a
you.
day walker though.
Okay. Yeah. Well,
I'm a day walker. I'm up during the day and the night.
yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, okay. I guess we could probably slowly get to what you're doing now and expand a little bit more into the trading. Um, but we have an international audience, and it'd be great to find out where you were. I know you said you're based in Atlanta now, but where were you born and raised?
Excuse me.
Okay.
Born and raised in Detroit, Michigan, Motown.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I was born, uh, Barry Gordy, the Winans commissioned. Um, I grew up, during that time, uh, Ready for the World. If you
Yes.
remember that group.
Yeah, yeah, I've interviewed Malvin Riley Jr.
Yeah,
But I know
yeah.
even though he's born and raised in Detroit, he's a big Steelers fan. So I don't go figure. But what was
Yeah,
it
go
like?
figure.
Because the Barge as well, they're from Detroit
Yep,
as well. Um, and
yep. A lot of
uh,
talent from Detroit.
Yeah, Donnie Simpson. Can I remember interviewing him, and he told me what it's like growing up in Detroit in the '60s and just seeing everything around. But by the time you must have been sort of born and raised, they must have moved to LA, Motown.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
Uh, Donnie Simpson, my generation, we always wanted to be on Donnie's show.
Yeah. Video
So yeah,
Soul, yes.
so Donnie's
Yeah.
a
Oh,
little
you
bit
mean
ahead of me, but yeah,
okay? But I mean.
he had a show on BT.
So for the you might not know, but I moved to the States in '92 to go to and I lived in Selma, Alabama for about a couple of years. Then went to college
Okay.
in Milwaukee, and then worked out in LA before relocating back to the UK. So BT Video Soul, yeah, that was on lockdown
Yep.
and stuff. But as a kid growing up in Detroit. For you, what was the vibe like?
Man, growing up in Detroit I think, was the one of the best cities and the best era to grow up in. It was a lot of competition. Being in Detroit, it was like if you played an instrument, it was so much competition, and so you had to be good. Like you had to be at the top level. And my grandmother figured out that I can play at a very early age, like 9 or something, 9 or 10.
Mm.
She's like, "Oh, we're gonna put him in lessons," because she saw the gift. But before I took lessons, I could hear anything and I could play it, right? So for me, growing up in Detroit, it was the best because you had some of the best teachers, some of the best musicians, and I ended up studying under Twinkie Clark of the Clark sisters. And
Okay.
if you know anything about Twinkie, she can make that organ sing, right?
Wow.
She's one of the baddest. And I was blessed to go to Clark Conservatory of Music on West 7 Mile in Detroit. If you know, you know. And I was like her protege. Like I studied under her and I learned everything from her. So I was playing for churches, like doing full Sundays service at around 11 years old.
Wow.
So growing up in Detroit, you had a lot of gospel influence because you had the Winans,
Mm,
you had commissioned,
mm,
and I actually played for a gospel group. And I got a lot of experience playing with the group and playing with the band and playing under Twinkie. And after Twinkie, I studied jazz, I studied classical music. So I was really a well-rounded musician before I even got into the production side
mm.
of music, which was after high school, right? But
Yeah.
all during high school, I was studying jazz, classical. I went to Cass Tech. It was like a performing arts high school.
Mm.
And it was all music for me. But I really thought that I was gonna be like the next Kirk Franklin, right? Being that I just
Oh,
played gospel. I
Kirk
didn't
Franklin.
like R&B, like I liked R&B, Isley Brothers, Earth, Wind and Fire, Marvin Gaye. Like I liked all the old souls, but I was really into gospel, right?
Mm.
So I didn't really get into the secular scene until after high school. Like I graduated and somehow I ended up in Atlanta doing a demo, and we can talk about that later. But growing up in Detroit was, man, it was the best because every day was music for me. Every single day, I either
Okay.
had music in school because I went to performance art school. Then after school, all I did was rehearse with my band, and then on Sundays, all I did was play. So
S- So that meant you were not on the streets because um the image I was got from Detroit was it was rough on the streets. And
well,
so
Detroit is rough and was rough. But see, the difference between me, my mama was a cop, my auntie was a cop, my uncles was the police, and my mama was really the narcos. Like she was the narcotics police. So um I was blessed that I wasn't in the streets, right? I
okay.
couldn't be in the streets.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and and I was in the church too. Like when I say
Okay.
I went to church almost every day, I was in church almost because I played for the church, I played for a gospel group, I played for a community choir. So it was like for me, it was school and church and rehearsal. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? And again, like my whole family was the police. So
Okay.
in
Okay.
Detroit, so I couldn't really get in too much trouble. But Detroit, oh yeah, Detroit is still and was, it's rough. It ain't for the faint of heart.
Yeah, I mean Elder Bud
But
when
yeah, I was
I
just blessed that I wasn't, you know,
yeah, I mean Elder
in all
Bud
the riffraff.
he was because he was the one that told me growing up in Troy that it was rough, and in fact they had to send them to Grand Rapids to stay with their uncle who had the bishop who had a church because it was rough growing up in Detroit. I'm thinking, wow, goodness. So, but
Yeah, yeah.
did but you said Kirk Franklin? Kirk Franklin. I mean, I thought he came out in the early '90s. Was he around? Because you said you wanted
Yeah,
to
he
be
did, but I was saying like like
in
in the
that.
vein, like in the vein of a
Ah,
Kurt Franklin.
okay,
Yeah,
but it wasn't like he was
yeah,
somebody
yeah.
you're
Because
looking. Okay, yeah, okay.
oh no, no, because actually Kirk Franklin hit around the same time I started hitting at Bad Boy.
Yeah,
Like
so
he
that's what I
he
was
he
thinking.
came
Yeah,
out right when I was, yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah. He came out right. But I was on that path, right?
on
Because
that
I was the
path. Yeah.
one that's I used to stand up on the organ. I'm standing up on the organ
Ah,
playing in
yeah, yeah,
church.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I always had that different
Yeah.
type of style. The church mothers would always, oh, turn it down, you playing that devil's music. You know what I mean? But to me, it was just I was just playing what I felt. Like music is in my blood. So
You sound like is it Ty something? What's his name now? A gospel artist.
Ty Tribbett.
Yeah, is that the type? Did you have that type of energy back in the day?
Yep. Yep.
Okay,
Yeah. I was Ty. I was Ty. I was Kirk Franklin, all of them before they came out. You
okay,
know what I mean?
okay,
Like, yeah, yeah.
okay.
Like even my gospel songs that I wrote, they more leaned on the R&B side, but they were, talking about God and
Yeah, yeah.
salvation. But that was just that's always been my style, like jazz,
Mm.
R&B, the blues, the funk. Yeah, I love all that.
Then
So
when commission comes out, then does that almost say, man, there's a lane for me then because everyone talks about how they got influenced by
Man,
commission in the R&B market.
man, to this day, I work out to commission. Like I know every album. Um, Fred Hammond is one of the greatest, in my eyes. And to me, commission birthed R&B, and you can ask a lot of the heavy weights. Sean Stockman from Boyz II Men talking about how much commission influenced them, as a group. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, I've spoken to Slim and Mike from 112. They mentioned the same thing.
Yep.
Woody from Drew Hill. I mean, most I can't list, but a lot of everyone talks about commission, especially come from the church and then seeing
Yeah.
how they were. Um, d- but then for you, then growing up and in high school, did you see music as a career or was it just a hobby? Because the families and all in the police, did you think that was where you're going?
Oh, I knew I wasn't gonna be no police officer. Like that wasn't even my lane. And as far as taking it as a career, back then, man, it was just, man, I got a passion for music that's like it's beyond words, right?
Mm,
So starting music and playing music, it was never for me like, oh, yo, I'm gonna get paid. Oh, I'm one day I'm gonna be a super producer and make millions. It was like, this is what I love to do, and this is what I'm gonna do. And having that passion and that commitment to it, getting paid was just, the residuals of my gift. So it was never I got into the game like I want to make $1 million. I want to be this, that, you
mm,
know, all the accolades and all that stuff. It just came with it for the passion for the music.
mm.
So yeah. But it was never like, oh, I want to be a super producer or anything like that. It just happened.
Okay. I mean, so then when you finish high school, then what's the do you have a vision? Do you have a plan as to where you want to go and what you want to do?
Well, like I said, I was playing for the church like at 11. So if you know anything about playing in the church, you get paid every
Yeah,
Sunday.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
making about a
yeah.
buck 50,
Yeah.
200, like at 11 years old, right?
Wow, wow,
And
wow.
after every Sunday, they come, the deacons and the trustees, they come give me a white envelope with
Wow.
cash. So it was like I never really needed a job. I mean,
Mm,
if you want to call it, you look at it, the church was my job, and I
mm,
had a job like since I was 11 years old. Like, so I never was like looking for a job because the church always took care of me. So
mm.
by the time I graduated, man, I was making nice money. You know what I'm saying? I was playing
Wow.
every Sunday, and then you could do funerals. I'm playing for my group. So so for me, it
Shucks.
was like I'm just getting paid, making music. So the future was just me playing music.
Oh, in the
But
church, yeah.
after, um, yeah, just doing it, just gigging and doing the church thing, and then I started getting gigs. Like there was this group that opened up for Madonna. I forget the name of the group, but I would do certain gigs, and but how it happened for me getting into the industry was after high school. One of my best friends, Eric Crawford, incredible songwriter to this day. Um, he graduated 1 year before me, and he ended up in Atlanta. So he called me. He's like, "Yo, Dub, man, you got to get down here." Because me and him in high school,
Mm,
that's my writing partner. So he's like, "Yo,
mm,
you got to get down here." Back then, they were cutting demos, and you would shop your demo to the labels, and that's how you
mm.
got the deal. So he said, "Man, you got to come to Atlanta, man. I hooked up with these cats. Come to find out, some dope boys from the D. They had bought a studio in Atlanta, and and he was their artist, right? So I ended up, coming down to Atlanta, and it was an incredible experience for me because the first time I walked, that was like really the first time I've been in a real studio with the big SSL boards and the speakers. And the moment I walked into that studio, I said, "Oh, this is what I'm going to do." Right? Like this is when that's when the producing bug hit me. So I ended up doing his demo. Of course, it didn't work. Right?
What year was this? Just for
It
context.
normally doesn't work your first time.
What year was this for context? What year?
Sheesh. It would be about 95, maybe 95,
Oh,
96,
okay.
95, 96.
I would have thought it'd
So
be okay.
I,
It must be earlier
yeah.
than that.
So I came down. No, because I'm 1992. He was 91. So I say, yeah, okay, 93, 94, maybe
Yeah, okay.
around that time.
Because
Yeah, yeah,
SWV
around
came out to
93, 94.
96 and you already had stuff
Yeah,
on there.
yeah. Yeah. So you had to help me with my time. But yeah, well, he graduated in 91. I was 92. So 93, around 93,
Yeah,
94,
that makes sense.
around that time. So yeah. So around 93, 94, I'm in Atlanta, my first studio experience. It was great though. Man, I had a ball recording his demo. And they actually put it out. He did okay, but you know, dope boys only know how to take it so far, right? So they took it as far as they could. But time what happened was Jean Griffin. If you know Jean Griffin managed Teddy Riley, guy, right? Yeah, watch this.
I
Watch
know
this.
Jean Griffin
Jean
like the back of my
Griffin,
hand.
yeah, I do too. Watch this.
Jean Griffin.
And I'm telling you how I know him. So
Jean Griffin.
Gene visits the studio. He's doing some work in the studio, the same studio that I'm working in. And and I'm working, and he walked by my room and he hears my music. He said, oh, you got it. Right? So Gene becomes my manager. Gene Griffin was my first manager. Yeah, I see you laughing because you know, right?
I've interviewed
So
Timmy
Gene Griffin's
Gatson.
my first manager. Oh yeah, so you know. So but Gene did he like we would get work. You know, Gene was hot because he was right off of managing Teddy, and Teddy had just did Michael Jackson, so he was huge. So he was still getting work with Motown, right? This is Motown, and I was doing remixes or something. And Gene would get the check, right? The check would be, I don't know, about 30, 40 racks. But yeah, here you go, brother. Here's 2,000. But you know, back then I didn't know. So, you know, but come to find out, I found out what he was doing. And of course that didn't work. But it was a great experience. Just being around Gene, just seeing how he moved. And of course that didn't work. So I ended up um moving back to Detroit after maybe
Okay.
like a year,
No,
right? A year
okay.
and a half.
If you stayed a year and a
And
half,
me and Gene, you know, of course,
no. If you stayed a year and a half with
yeah.
Gene, which, because for those who might not know the history of Gene, Gene, after the breakup of GR Productions, Gene went with
Mm-hmm.
Mucho and Basic Black to Atlanta, and then he started Gene Griffin Productions and started to he hired Pretty in Pink, Shaka Khan's daughter, was there and other things. What was the and he also what was the remix and stuff that he was getting that you were working on back in those early days?
Oh, it was like artists. It was like new artists. Like they didn't really come out, but they had a budget, right? So we
Ah.
would do the work, and of course, you know, they cut him the check, but you know, I got what I got.
Okay.
And you know, it didn't work out, you know, but I will say that I learned that the business is cutthroat, you know, through Gene. And but
Oh,
I was blessed again for your audience. Gene managed Guy and Teddy Riley, right? So they had just came off of doing Michael Jackson album that Teddy did, right?
yeah, yeah.
And back then they had floppy disk.
Mm.
And somehow Gene had the whole case of Michael
Oh.
Jackson's sounds from that album. So I was able to have like I had all the Teddy Riley sounds from that album on a floppy disk. So so that was an amazing amazing time. And it really took my production to the next level because I had like the best sounds in the game, you know.
Wow.
So um that was one of the best times with him. And I also remember he had a red Ferrari that we used to ride around in that I used to enjoy. So, you know, I got a little taste of being in the industry, you know, with him. But again, you know, it didn't work out. But that was just that was like my, you know, heads first into the business. And
Yeah. But
then after that,
did you
you know, I
know
ended
of
up going back
him?
to Detroit
Did
for a
you
while.
know of him? Did you because did you know that he was the guy in the video of James Ingram's It's Real? Did you know he was
Oh
the
yeah.
guy?
Oh
Oh, you
yeah,
knew
because
who's okay.
I was a fan of Teddy Riley. You know, I
Okay.
was a fan of Teddy Riley. And you know back then you read the liner notes.
Yeah, yeah,
You know,
yeah.
so I
Yeah,
knew
yeah, yeah.
everybody.
Okay.
So, you know, it was an honor, you know, that he was like, you know, that he thought I was talented. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
I was starstruck, right?
Okay.
You know, I was like, this Jean Griffin. He had the Ferrari, he had the work, you know, he had it walking around with Teddy Riley's sounds. I'm like, yo, I got Teddy Riley's sounds. Teddy Riley's manager. You know what I'm saying? I'm riding around in a Ferrari, you know.
Oh, good.
Matter of fact, he bought me an apartment. You know what I'm saying? I have my apartment. So, you know, it was fun while it lasted,
Did
you
you get
know.
to
And
keep the
then
apartment or
you know
was it
when it
in
was
his
over, it
name?
was over.
Did you get to
Of
keep the
course
apartment?
not. It was all everything was in his name. No. It was in his name. Everything, right? You know, that's how they do. Yeah. Yeah, it's yours, but it's in my name.
Oh, goodness. Did you
Of
learn
course not.
anything about the business in that year with Tim? Or because did you get to use that experience to learn?
Um, no, I wouldn't say I learned business contracts or anything. I would say that I learned you have to be very careful who you associate with in the game. And like everybody that says that they're, you know, for you, they ain't for you, you know.
Mm.
So again, it was really a great experience, but it was short lived too, you know.
Well,
It was like
a
a
year's
good
not
year.
short.
Like I
A
was
year's
there
a
like
long
a year,
time.
and then well, I mean, yeah,
Okay.
I had fun. I
Yeah.
will say that I had a lot of fun.
And then you headed back to Detroit, you said after that year?
Yeah. So after the lease ran out, right, at the apartment, I ended up going, ended up coming back home to Detroit. And then immediately though, it was great coming back home. You know, RJ Rice, RJ's latest arrival, Shackles on My Feet. They had a hit called Shackles on My Feet.
Okay.
Well, he was a lead singer and he had a studio in Southfield. He had a studio in Southfield. And one of my good friends to this day, Slam, he was like, yo, man, we're glad you back. Man, I'm up here at RJ Rice Studios, man. Come on up here. Let me introduce you to RJ. So I went up there to the studio and at that time, I'm still crazy on the keyboards, but I used to play the keyboards backwards. I used to play Chick Corea, Beethoven. I'm
Wow.
crazy on the keys. So I played for him and I played him some of my work. He's like, "Oh, duh, man, we gonna make you the in-house producer." So immediately it was like so, so as soon as I got back to Detroit, you know, I had a gig. I was at the studio every day, and and most of the work that we would get would be you know, the dope boys. They come in with rap artists and but they had money.
Yeah,
So, you know, so that was
yeah,
my gig, you know what I'm saying? Just making beats for them. And then but we did get one nice artist. Her name is Poe, Poe. She was on Capitol Records. She had a real deal. And actually the album won, like, I think it went gold. I
Mm,
worked on that album. I was able to work on that album. Doing a lot of the keyboard work. And that's where I learned true production though, up
mm,
under RJ Rice Studios, because he taught me how to make a bridge. He was like,
mm.
"Yo, Dub, you gotta, yeah, what you're doing is nice, but you gotta make it explode, man. You gotta take it somewhere else, right?" And you know, he really instilled like making a bridge and how to structure your songs, right? So
Mm,
I took that, and being that I've studied classical, jazz, all that, I would structure my songs differently, where the intro would be like you would think it to be a movie score or something, right?
mm,
And then the beat would drop, right? So I would structure my songs in a way that immediately they would grab you. And I also did bridges. Like they don't
mm,
do that today, but
mm.
um, I used to do bridges, and that really separated my production too from a lot of other producers coming up at that time. So I will say, like, RJ taught me a whole bunch about music production, and that was a great time too. Great experience at RJ Rice Studios back in Detroit. Yeah.
And did he also teach you about points and publishing?
Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. 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 I learned, but I still learned the hard way on that Poe on that
Oh,
Poe record, right? She
okay.
was on Capitol,
Yeah, yeah.
and like we worked on her album a good two months, 3 months. She's flying in, flying out. She's there, and I did all of the keyboard work. I'm coming up with ideas, but I only got credited for keyboard work, right?
Mm,
So I didn't get any like production credit where I should
mm,
have got production credit because I did a lot of the producing on it. But they put me down as keep playing keys, and I didn't get any points on the album,
mm,
and the album ended up going gold. But so I learned a lot about points. Like points are important. uh Production credit is important versus additional programming. It's a
okay.
big difference between additional programming and
Yeah.
music and being the music producer. I
Mm,
learned, so I learned a lot about that points. But again, in this business, I think that to really anybody who's had any level of success will tell you that it was it wasn't easy getting in the game, and they had to learn a lot of hard lessons. You know.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. It almost knocked me because I've interviewed almost 200 guests,
Wow.
and it's almost everyone said that will tell me the same story, and it
Wow.
was really heartbreaking to hear whether it's in Vogue, whether it's the guys
Yep.
from Bad Guy, Timmy Gatlin,
Mhm.
Blackstreet, and hearing it, it's very hard to know that people are always stealing from people. I mean, Teddy Riley
Man,
did My Prerogative, but then Gene is credited
Gene,
as the writer and the producer, and
there
Teddy
you
is
go.
just doing the engineering. Uh,
Yeah,
you
right.
know, but but that one experience, you said you learn after the things were submitted and the album came out, you're looking through.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
but did you must have said, "Where's my name?" But did you know what was missing out? Because no one would have taught you the basics. How did
At
you?
that time, again, I didn't know the basics, right? I'm just again, I would have did it for free, man, back then. You know what I'm saying? Because I just love music. And most cats will tell you,
Yeah,
at this level, like, shit, we do it for free. Like we
yeah,
didn't, I didn't know. So being in this game, you learn as you go, right? Because there's no school that teach you, yo, the contracts, you gotta have your points, you gotta have excellent, you gotta sign up with ASCAP, you need BMI, you gotta get your manager, you gotta get your accountant. When you learn really after it's too late. Really. And or or you learn along the way, right? So I learned a lot of this along the way. So I'm reading the credits. I'm like, wait a minute. Oh, keyboards, but I produced like half the album. I'm thinking, right? And I was like,
Mm.
and then you have conversations. I had conversations with Slim's like, yeah, man, that's crazy. You just got music production additional program, and so you start learning after the fact. So then after you learn those lessons, you begin to slowly implement them in the next deal and the next deal.
Okay, okay.
So but it's being in this game, yeah, it's no school for it, man. It's like you learn as you go, you know.
I interviewed 2 days ago. They're called the Word Up Story,
Okay.
but in essence, it's the guys who started Cameo minus Larry Blackman.
Wow, I love Cameo, man.
So this is the group apart from Larry, these everyone else they all wrote Candy, Word Up, Strange,
Whoa.
like they were there from the
Sheesh.
beginning, and and the same story. And I said, but you guys, this happened to you guys in the 70s. And it still
Sheesh.
happened to people in the 90s. That doesn't make sense because if people listen to your story, why are the mistakes still happening? And that's why they're not part of Cameo now because the same thing situation. Somebody knew the business more than the rest, and it's like
Yep.
having 13 albums going multi-platinum, but the money isn't adding up. And so yeah, it's really sad. Um,
Yeah.
but it happens more within the black community than
That
than the country and pop rock. And I
I
say this
agree
because
totally.
when I interviewed Claude McKnight from Take Six, they got signed to a country. They got signed to in Nashville, and they were giving a contract that was comparable to a country group. So they were given they gave them their publishing and their points almost
Whoa.
as if because the chairman of the label loved what they did and just signed them as a little pet project, but they
Wow.
didn't realize they were going to blow up. So yes, it's yeah. But anyway, I digress.
Yeah.
So you've learned,
No, I totally feel you. Yeah, 100%. It's like that, bro. So even now, it's like that. Like you got your managers, so-called managers, taking advantage of these artists coming up.
gee.
But
But then,
you know,
how does that
and
affect
yeah,
your relationship with RJ then? Because you're like, dude, man, what's going on?
well, again, I will say my whole career, like coming in the music industry, it's just been blessed, man. So it was like I would have one situation, like with RJ, like it came to a head after Poe came out and started reading the credits, and the money wasn't added up, the credits wasn't adding up. So, but he still needed me, right? Because I was the main producer. So,
Mm,
he would like it to make up for it. He'd give me extra cash, this and that. So, but what happened was, so the relationship, it still stayed intact because again, I looked up to him still as a mentor, right? Like because he taught me so much. But I also realized that he's a little snake too, right? So, um, so a little bit after that record came out, I'm still up there doing projects, and of course another dope boy come in there, and he has this group called I forget the name, but he has a rap group, and he had watch this. He had just bought another studio where in Atlanta. I know, like everybody from Detroit just wanted to go to Atlanta. So yeah, man, come on, I got this studio down here, man. We can do the group. We're gonna do this. Whoop, wop, whoop, wop, boop, bop, boom. So I'm like, yeah, man, let's go. You know what I'm saying? I'm young. I'm still, you know what I'm saying, what, 2021? I'm like, yeah, okay, let's do it. So I'm like, shit, it's the second time I'm in Atlanta. It's gonna work this time. Um, he had the studio again. It went great for a while until the money ran out. Right, the money
ah,
ran out. I was getting like a little stipend every week. and money stopped coming in. So I'm like, oh, what's going on? And again, I had another apartment. They always like to set you up with everything in their name. Got another apartment, and um, I had all the equipment in the apartment at this time. So I'm still working, groups coming by. So I'm getting a little, change here and there. And but I stopped working with his group because he stopped paying me, right?
Mm.
So I was like, yo, I ain't working. No, where's the money? So he comes over to the apartment. It's like, yo, since you ain't working, I'm taking all my equipment. And mind
Oh.
you, like that was all the furniture. The furniture was the equipment and the couch. So he cleaned me out. He took all his equipment back, right? And it was this company called Noontime. So somehow they knew a guy. His name was Wendell White, and they knew Wendell and Chris Hicks from Noontime. If you know Noontime, you know this is Chris, Noonie, Tr, and Ryan Glover. And Shakir, God rest in peace, he was a part of it too. And they started out. Noontime was really like a party promotions group, but they got into the music business, and they seen it was lucrative. And by that time, I had made a little name for myself, J Dub's hot, like it was getting around because back then I had dats and work was getting out. Like J Dub was hot, so I guess they had a conversation. Next thing I know, a little bit after he comes and cleans me out, Chris calls like, "Yo, Dub, I heard you had a little situation with Wendell. Well, man, we got a whole studio down here, man. Why don't you just come down here? You know what I'm saying? And vibe with us." So I ended up at Noontime, right? So I'm the main producer. Everywhere I go, I'm the main producer, right? I'm the main producer at Noontime. So at this time, but Noontime had the energy, they had the hustle, they had the grind, because it was really five of them, four plus Shakir, because Shakir was a part of them too. And they would hustle. I mean, they at Def Jam and Epic, messing around with LA,
Ah.
you know what I'm saying? Just everywhere. And they ended up getting this group called Absolute. This is two guys, Yaru and Corey. And back then, again, we were doing demos. Like you do your demo and then you shop it to the label. So I exclusively produced their demo. It was like 6 songs, man. And I will say it was dope. It was so dope when they started shopping it. L.A. Reid wanted them, Leora Cole wanted them,
Wow.
and Puff wanted them. Like everybody wanted them. So Puff was like, "Yo, who did the demo?" He was like, "Oh yeah, yeah, this is our producer Jade Up." Jade Up. So Puff flies down to Atlanta to meet me because he didn't have the money to sign Absolute because they ended up going to Def Jam. Leroy and them had the money. So he was like, "Well, shit, who did the production?" So he flies to Atlanta like on a Friday. Back then, you had your music on DATs. And I had a briefcase full of DATs. So he was like, "Yo, Playboy, play me what you got. What you got?" I said, "Really?" So I opened up my DAT briefcase and I blew his wig back. I played everything. He said, "Oh, okay." So, real story. Now, this is how quickly it popped off for me. Like I went from Jean Griffin and not working back RJ Rice Studios. That whole thing didn't work. That back down here didn't work again with Wendell. So Noontime. Finally, I'm with Noontime. Puff flies down on a Friday. I play on my music. By that Saturday night, Sunday, I'm in New York. Sunday night, I never forget. We in the B room where it was called the SSL room in the vocal booth. And he said, "Yo, Playboy, I'm about to open up the gates of heaven for you, Playboy. It's about to go down. I'm about to make you a hitman." And back then, Hitman was like if you was a hitman, like it was, I was a fan. I was a fan of Biggie. I was a fan of Faith. right? Craig Mack. It was like, yo, like I never forget, like the first time I heard Faith Evans. I remember produced by one of my mentors, God rest him, Chucky Thompson. Man,
Oh,
I'm going
Chucky.
to the studio, almost crashed the car. Like, oh my god, like that shit is fire, right? Fast forward like a year and a half later, I'm in Bad Boy Studios becoming a Bad Boy Hitman. So we had the meeting that's like that Sunday. I say like that Monday, Tuesday. I signed the papers. I'm a Bad Boy Hitman, right? And yeah, it's happened that quick. Now watch this. So that's like a Tuesday, and so I'm getting acclimated to the studio. Everybody walking coming to this. Missy coming to this studio. Devontae Swing. I mean, you name it. Timberland. Everybody is coming to the studio. Faith, 112, Biggie, everybody's up in the studio. I'm just taking it all in, mortified, playing my beats and the love. I'm getting love. And oh yeah, this J-Dub, just like you know what I'm saying. So it's a Thursday night, right? He comes in the mid. If you know, it's the A room, the Neve room, the B room. Then it's the MIDI room in the middle. The MIDI room is where it hits, where it pop off at. So he comes in the MIDI room and he has a DAT. He's like, yo, I'm about to put you on. We got SWV's first single. This is what I want you to do. Watch this. And he puts on the sample to 10 Crack Commandments. Biggie's Biggie rapped over. He called it 10. Watch this. It was one of my favorite songs from Biggie. And he's telling me, yo, we about to flip this for SWV. So of course I'm like in my mind, oh my God, I'm about to just go crazy on this track. Because my thing is too, another reason why he signed me, it was really just me and Stevie J and Chucky that really played. Like
Musicians,
we
yeah.
could play all instruments and everybody else, yeah, like they sampled, like the Dug in the Crates. You know what I'm saying? So he would use us to like flip samples, play over samples. That's what made the team so exquisite. Like, but everybody that sampled though, they had their gift too. So
Mm,
what he would do, he would use me more for like the R&B and taking samples and flipping them. So I
mm.
was like a perfect fit for the SWV thing. So he's like, yeah, but make it R&B too. And mind you, I'm still fresh out the church. So I got that church thing on me, but I still got that little street vibe from being, you know what I'm saying, in the game a little while. So I took it, I flipped the beat, and I would say like that Saturday, they was in there cutting the damn song. Kelly Price came in and wrote it because Kelly Price was writing, Kelly Price, friend of
Yeah,
mine, we'll
yeah,
get to her
yeah.
later. She was writing all the songs back then, writing all the hooks. She came in and wrote the song, did the demo. SWV was like in the studio like that Sunday, cutting it. And I say no more than like maybe 2 to 3 weeks. I was in a Ferrari with a Versace shirt on, my Rollie, and diamond up in the shooting a video for someone
That's,
featuring Puff Daddy.
that's me and Jay.
You know what
I
I'm
think that's
saying?
how we
So
all
when
know who
I
you.
say when it pops off, it pops off. You know what I'm saying? And back then, I was one of the few, because Puff, I will say Puff did give me my props because he was like Puff and J Dub. Like
Yeah,
he
yeah.
put me in the song. Like it's like Puff and J, that's me in the Ferrari. That's me, Puff. Yeah, that's me real quick. And so I mean, it popped off quick for me. It didn't after that, man. The rest they say it was history. Like I was on. There wasn't
Yeah.
no turning back.
Okay. Now, okay,
Yeah.
I wanted to rewind back quickly. Did they have to buy you out from your new time deal, or was it like, did you sign anything with this?
Yeah, let's talk about that. Now, the noontime deal was over leveraged. I will say over leveraged in noon aside from the get go. But again, you learning as you go. I'm just getting out of a bad thing with
Window?
actually it was 2620. If you know anything about 26 Kenny Burns and them, it was
Oh
associated
yeah,
with them.
Kenny. Oh,
But
Kenny
Kenny
Burns. Yeah.
Burns was at noontime too. So
Ah.
it's always a conflict of interest in this game. But I ended up with Noontime, right? And it was really four, kind of five, and it was a lot of them, right? So of course my contract, I thought it was good, right? Because I'm like, I got a studio every day. I'm working, you'll see I'm getting work. And again, I did it for free anyway, because I was blessed to have like all the equipment. I was like, shoot, I'm working. But as you progress, you learn. So when I did the deal with Puff, Puff had to. I think it was like a co-managing thing. So they gave up half their percentage to him.
Wow.
So I still was getting like the short end of the stick. You know what I
Yeah.
mean on the money side. But what happened again with my career, it popped off so quick. So after I did the SWV single and it blew up, back then publishing companies were giving out $1 million publishing deals. If
Mm.
you had like one hit on the radio and some work, they called it work in the pipeline. Like,
Mm.
yo, I'm working with Faith. I'm about to work on 112. I just signed with Bad Boy Hitmen. So that was like they was throwing money at me. So I would say like about a month after the SWV single come out, everybody wanted to give me a publishing deal. Sony wanted to give me a publishing deal, and Hitco, which is
L.A. Reid.
um LA, it was LA Reeds.
Yeah.
They wanted to do a deal with me. Def Jam, everybody wanted to do a deal with me. But back then, I was like, who got the most money at that point? I was like, because I got with Puff. Puff was like, yo, you got to get the SS, the 600. You got to get all the diamonds. So it was a lifestyle thing at that point. That was like, well, who got the most money? Of course, Sony ATV had the most money. They gave me $1 million publishing deal. So this is when the shit kind of hit the fan. And then you really start learning what it's all about again as you go. The bigger the deals, the more you find out. So this is $1 million publishing deal, right? Right? And of course, Doomtown got the big portion of that. Puff got his portion, but I got a
Wow.
nice portion of that too. Like I got about $500,000 up front, and like I was getting like $20,000 a month for a year. Like if I didn't even make one track just off that deal. So of course, that's when the accountants start coming in. That's when the lawyers start coming in, and they looking at the contracts and they're like, "Yo, Dub, yo, shit, what? No, these noontime cats. You need to see if you can go to them and talk to them. Them your boys, right? Man, I thought we was thick as mud, right? Noontime. I thought we were cool. So after the deal happened, so he's like, yo, you need to go check out your contract. Talk to them and see if you can renegotiate.
Mm.
Moment I went to go to renegotiate, like, yo, yeah, can we? Because these numbers, everybody getting paid, but this is too much, man. That's when their true colors came out. I
Wow.
mean, they flipped the script, got mad to the point where one of them had a house. Yeah, who's buying houses back then? We they they had a house right behind my house. We lived in the subdivision out in Smyrna, Cobb County. And it's called Vinings Estates. Never forget. So I buy my house, and from my production and all the stuff that I'm doing, they were I able to buy themselves a house. So one of them bought a house behind me, and it got to the point. Well, tell J Dub told my assistant, tell J Dub, well, shit, don't he better not never come around to my house no more. I want to see him at the studio. I was like, shit, I don't care. Like I'm rolling in dough. I bought my own studio, put it in my own house. So I'm like, I don't care about them cats right now. So it got to a point though. I'm still a main producer at noontime, and everybody's coming to noontime to get a J Dub beat, but J Dub is never there. J Dub is at home. Or when Puffer called, of course, I'm like, yo, because I'm a hitman. I fly to New York, do what I needed to do, work on 112, Faith, whatever. But I'm flying right back. See, I was a little different. I wouldn't hang out in New York too much because I
Mm.
loved Atlanta. If you know, you know. I loved Atlanta. I have my own crib, my studio. I'm balling. I got the Benz, the truck. I'm good. So But at the same time, I'm going through some problems contractually
Mm.
with Noontime. So it got to the point where we're not talking. I'm not going to the studio. They're warning me, don't come to the studio, this, that, and the other. I'm like, cool, whatever. And all of a sudden, I get a knock on my front door. This was about, I don't know, 8, 9 o'clock at night. Guess who it is? It's Noontime. There's all four of them. Noonie, Chris, Terry, Ryan, they come in the house. Just straight disrespected. Like, yeah, you gonna work with us, you know what I'm saying? This, that, and the other. So it got to a point where back then that like I used to have a really bad temper. Like, but I'm a nice guy. But if you keep doing this, like I just blow. So they kept pushing my buttons, kept pushing my buttons. So I was like, yo, y'all gonna have to kill me up in here because if y'all leave here, it's going down. Y'all better do something. They just talking shit. So they say, yeah, whatever. Well, we're gonna see if you work again. You know, just talking bad shit. They didn't know that he's like my little brother. He was upstairs. My little brother is from Bankhead. That's like Bankhead was my crew because Yaru was an absolute and it became like my little brother, and he's from Bankhead. So they embraced me as the producer because like, oh, that's Yaru's producer, won't Jada up. And Bankhead is a little bit like Detroit. You know what I'm saying? So we
Mm.
had a lot in common. So they didn't know he's upstairs while they downstairs talking. So hear me pop, he hear me getting upset. So he calls Bankhead. He calls Bankhead like, yo, Doug, man, they down here. I think Doug's is about to pop off. Get over here right now. I'm not even knowing that they calling that he called Bankhead. By the time the boys was walking out my house, Bankhead pulling up in my driveway, right? Bankhead always had that thing on him, right? And at this time, I'm like so like my eyes are red.
Wow.
Like I wanted blood. I wanted to kill somebody, right? Because they just disrespected him. Like, yo, and it was a boiling point too, because contractually, I was like, I'm just tired. And so I said, yo, give me the piece. I'm about to kill these MFers. Shout out to Yaru. Yaru seen me because I probably would have kept one in my driveway. He's like, no, Doug, don't do that, man. So he got the gap from me. And as they're at the bottom, because they parked at the bottom of the street of my driveway, and they getting in the Range Rover. It was a black Range Rover. I never forget. And one of them said something real slick out the mouth. He said something real slick. But he was almost in the car, right? So, that's like going like, yeah, I was like, you mother. So I got the gun. I run down my driveway. By the time I'm running down my driveway, I guess they see me with the gas, so they pulling off. I stay on the middle of the street and I let one go. Now this is Cobb County in Vinings Estate. Like we're the only black people out there, mind you. So I let one go, and so they take off. So I'm no gangster, but I know how the street goes. Like, yo, it's about to just go on now. Shit, you shot at them. By this time, Bankhead is there. It's like, yo, so it is what it is. So I say about 5 to 10 minutes later, it's a knock on my door. I open the door. It's 5-0. It's the police. Mr. Walker, you mean? I say, yeah, Mr. Walker. Well, can we ask you a few questions about a shooting? Wait, what shooting? I don't even know what you're talking about. Yeah, that's fine, sir. Can you just come with us? You know, I just want to ask you a few questions. I'm my naivety. I'm like, yeah, cool. And they didn't put me in cuffs or anything. So I'm just walking out, getting back to the squad car. So I'm thinking they're gonna take me down to the station to go, answer some questions or whatever. And I'm like, well, shit. I know they ain't got the gun. I ain't got no gun on me, so they can't prove shit. I'm thinking, not knowing the motherfuckers went around the corner and called the police on me. And instead of going out of my subdivision when they made the left turn, I was like, oh my God. I immediately knew. I was like, then called the police on me. Soon as I get around the corner to the person that he bought the house, his house, then the driveway screaming, oh, shut up, like crying. But they supposed to be the gangsters. And this is another thing, like the gangsters in the industry ain't gangsters at all. That's when I found out they're really little sissies. So I go around, so mind you, I'm not in handcuffs or anything. It's slow motion. I'll never forget. Mind you, yeah, we still got beef, but I'm thinking, yeah, we don't knuckle up or y'all gonna come, it's not gonna be with the police. They called the police, I'll never forget. So they shine a light in my face. They say, is that him? And it was in slow motion. One of them said, and they said, Mr. Walker, you under arrest. I got charged with 4 counts of attempted murder. I shot one time, but it was 4 people in the car. I was looking at 40 years in Cobb County. Yeah. I caught a case. I caught my first case right after, you know what I'm saying? I'm on top of the world, right? SWV, Hitman, Tamia, what else? 112. I'm doing Faith Evans and 112 remixes. I'm doing Sting remixes, Godzilla soundtracks. And and at the same time, I'm dealing with a case for 40 years in Cobb County. So that was really a trying time in my career. Whereas, like, I would be in New York working with 112, and then I have to come back home and go to court for that case. And so what happened was, of course, I got one of the best lawyers, one of the best dope boy lawyers. He was getting everybody off of drug murder cases. I had him, right? So what he would do is he would go to court. Every time we go to court, he knew how to get a continuance. He'll push it back. You just get it pushed back. So I could still use it work. Then, but it got to a point, he's like, all right, Doug, I'm gonna be real with you. You need to put some money up because you're gonna probably have to sit down for a few years because I don't think I'm gonna be able to get you out of this one. This is how my lawyer is talking to me.
Oh,
So at
wow.
this time, I'm just distraught. I'm like, oh fuck. But I'm still keeping this. I got the jewels, I got the cars. People don't know, but on the inside, I'm like, fuck, I'm about to go to jail. I'm gonna lose all this shit. So it was the night before one of them last little court sessions before the trial started. And never forget, I'm in Gentlemen's Club. If you know, you know. And that was my spot. And I hadn't seen one of the brothers of Noontime. Like, it was Noontime, and then it was his brother. Me and his brother became really close. And, when we fell out, I hadn't seen him in a while. He just happened to be at Gentlemen's Club, and we were up in VIP. I got the whole bank here, my big brother at the time, Pat. We just having a good time, know, and I'm like celebrating like this might be my last time. So, and I see Mike. I see Mike. And he's like, yeah, man, let me holler at you. I'm like, so I'm happy to see him. I'm still green. I'm naive at the time. So I'm happy to see him. It's like, yeah, man, let me holler at you. The back here, man, is loud. So it's a little corridor, kitchen, and the back VIP is a bar. He's like, yeah, come holler at me. So I leave all my people up front because I'm like, yeah, this my guy, I'm gonna go holler at him. As soon as I turn down that hallway, I feel a gun in my back. And he turns around and says, yo, yeah, since all this been popping off, you know what I'm saying? You and my family, y'all got beef, huh? But look at you. Look at you. You shining, huh? You shining. You looking real good. You gotta check all that shit in. This time I had every piece of jewelry I owned on, right? But I'm from Detroit too. And I was taught like, yo, if somebody trying to rob you, give them that shit right away. You don't even fight, right? I didn't come from there. Oh, you gotta fight them for it. So that instinct in me is like, because I was like, yo, if I get them all this shit, they gonna run because I had over $100,000 worth of jewelry on. So immediately I'm like, no fight for me. Boom, bop, took it all off. As soon as they got the jury, they took off. Immediately I turned around. I was like, yo, I'm like loud. I'm like, yo, I just got robbed. It's like the DJ, the record, the lights went up, they closed the club down. We getting valet. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm deep in the club, all Bankhead, all my people. We ride out to the house. We ride out to my house. And we in my kitchen. We're all there in my kitchen. Like, yeah, we plotting now. Like, yeah, we get the motherfuckers. Fuck that shit, dub. How they gonna rob you? Want this, that? And I got floor to ceiling windows, right? I got floor to ceiling windows. So at night you could see out. And of course, I didn't have no curtains. You could see out, but you could. I mean, you could see out, but it's all black. But if you out, you
I
could see
see.
all in because it was lit up. All of a sudden, I hear like firecrackers. I'm like, now my house was the madhouse. It was common for firecrackers to get lit in the house or whatever, right? So I'm like, yo, who the fuck firecrackers? And then they say, like, Dub, get out, they shooting. They lighting the house up. Now, mind you, this is the day before I got to go to court. They lighten the house up so much that the person that's next to me, he gets hit in the thigh. And what happened was they hit the wrong person. It was bit for me, but they hit him. When they hit him, that was a whole nother can of worms because he was one of the made men in Bankhead. So that was a whole nother can of worms. But fast forward, so the next day, my lawyer comes over. And I was just like, yo, what the fuck happened? I was like, yeah, this glass, holes in the couch. He takes pictures of it. It's like, come on, Dub. We're going to court. We can get you a continuance. He gets me another continuance. He's like, yes, due to this, and we believe it's them. So I get another continuance, right? So I'm walking home. I'm still like, I'm just distraught. More glass. My house shot up and shit. So at this time, like again, my little brother, he's like staying with me. The phone rings. He's like, yo, Dub, the phone. I was like, man, I ain't talking to nobody. He's like, I was like, who is it? He was like, it's Barry Hankerson. I was like, get the fuck out of here. Ain't no Barry Hankerson. He was like, no, it's Barry Hankerson. So I pick up the phone.
And you knew who he
I was
was.
like, yo, watch that. Tell you, my shit is a movie. Oh, fuck yeah, I knew he was. Again, I read all the credits.
Yeah,
Like
okay.
I'm one just a producer. Like I know all the credits. I know all everybody. Right. So he said, hey, my brother, I heard you got some problems down there, and I think I can help you. How soon can you get to LA? Uh, I come tonight. He's like, oh, okay, my brother, I'm gonna set it up. Get my assistant. I'm gonna get you out here. I think I can help you. So the next day, I'm in LA, a long ass table. It was him, his lawyers, the bodyguards, they everything, right? So he says to me, he's like, J Dub, shit, it was me. I'd be in the orange drum shoot because I killed all the motherfuckers. I can help you. So if you know, well, at this time he's managing Aaliyah. He had managed R. Kelly. He had a
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
deal with
That's his
Jive.
uncle.
Barry, yeah,
Yeah.
Barry is a made man at that time.
Yeah, yeah.
So Noontime wanted to work with Aaliyah.
Ah.
And so Barry worked it out where he's like, well, you dropped him charges and let Jada up out his contract. We could do business because he had Tony Braxton, Aaliyah, deals. So he got them to drop the charges on me and let me out my deal. And he signed me to Blackground. And this is when Blackground had just did that deal with Virgin with
Mm.
Aaliyah.
Aaliyah.
And so I never forget, I'm riding in the Bentley with Barry Hankerson. Like we like he was my dog for a minute there. And where I was privy to a lot of shit. And I was privy to him signing that deal with Virgin, right? And if you know anything about Barry, he's a little militant. I would say that. So
Little.
Gemma, she was president of Virgin, and she did something where he didn't like it, and he cussed her ass out so bad and said, this, that, and the other. If you don't like it, buck yo, want, I mean, the next day, they did the deal for like $75 million. It was one of the biggest deals ever back then. And the deal, it was an imprint with Virgin. It was a Virgin
Mm.
Blackground, but of course, they did it based on Aaliyah because Aaliyah was, she was the next Janet Jackson back then. So I was signed to Barry Blackground. He was managing me. Virgin loved me, the record company. Gemma, they loved me so much. I used to rent a lot of equipment. And that's the thing. I used to rent everything. I had 4 keyboards, racks of modules. So it got to a point. Gemma called me. She's the president. She's like, J-Dub, no, we're not gonna rent anything. You go down to Guitar Center and you get all that shit and you buy it and that's yours because we're gonna not like this is the relationship. It was a beautiful, like it was a beautiful situation. And I was able to do Aaliyah's album, did some stuff with Tony Braxton, Tank. I did that's when I did one of my biggest R&B baby maker hits, Slowly, on Tank. I produced two heavyweight songs on Baby Girl's last album, Red album, I Refuse and What If. And I was able to travel all the way to Australia. She was shooting Queen of the Dam at the
Oh
same
yeah,
at the
yeah, okay.
time, and Virgin needed the album at the same time. Well,
Mm.
she's shooting Queen of the Dam in Australia, and these labels got so much money. So they said, well, I tell you what, we gonna everybody that's produced on this album. They flew us all to Melbourne, Australia, just to do the album.
Wow.
So that was one of the most incredible experiences of my career. It was just like being in another world, right? I used to call back to LA like, yo, man, y'all late, man. I'm in tomorrow. Right? It's like literally I'm in tomorrow. And it was just a great time. Aaliyah would come to the studio and she was about it though. She would shoot the movie during the day and then she'd come to the studio at night to cut the album. So my sessions with her, she'll come to the studio. She still have makeup on. She'd be taking off the makeup. And our thing is like she'll come in, taking off her makeup. We get us a little bottle of something, sip, and we would just talk about her day and then talk about the records. And then we cut a lot of stuff that didn't even come out. Like she would just come
Ah.
by, in the studio. So it was just a great time, great experience. And that's when I really saw to like how much these labels got, how much money they have. And it's like if they want to cut you a blank check, yeah, they can do it. But I also learned too, once you piss them off or they're
Mm.
done with you, once she passed, right? It was maybe it wasn't even a week. You got the call. Oh, yeah. By the way, y'all ain't got no deal no more, right? So, yeah. The Black Crown lost the deal. Like the deal was over once she passed.
Wow.
So, yeah. So it was like everything stopped for me on um when she passed because it happened so quick and none of us really kind of processed what had happened. But at this time, I was deep in my career, man. I'm like 5, 6 years deep in my career. I had did Satisfy You featuring Puff Daddy. That was number one hit. Kelly Price, friend of mine. That was another hit. SWV. That was another hit. Um, I've worked on 112, Faith, Biggie. I mean, everybody that I kind of had wanted to work with, I did it. And when I was with Virgin, I was at a phase of my career where I was able to. They let me be creative because Virgin wasn't just R&B, right? When they were
Mm.
more like a pop,
Yeah, and
pop
they had the Rolling
progressive
Stones. Yeah.
label. And Gemma, and yeah. So they allowed me to really be creative, and they even signed my group. I had a group called Rockstar and the Downtown Players. We were like on some funk, rock, soul, and it was like there's like, yo, Dub, just do what you want to do. So it was like at that point in my career, it was like I was transitioning from just being a hitman, right? Doing the R&B stuff. And I was, and if you listen to the stuff I did on Aaliyah, the I Refuse and the What If is a straight rock track, man. It's like, but they allowed me. No other label would allow back then. Def Jam,
Mm.
they wouldn't allow that. So they let me be me, and it was just an incredible time. But again, they really was at war with Barry. So when Aaliyah passed, that was really the main reason we had carte blanche there. deal was done, right? So after that, it was like I went on like a little hiatus anyway. I was like, you know, um, I had fell out with Barry, of course. um, won't get into that, but fell out with him, and so I ended up uh going back to Daddy's house to New York. So I was because I was in LA, and I ended up moving back to New York. This is around 2005, 2006. I'm back in New York, and Biggie had passed, and um we were working on his Biggie Duets album. Like, so we would take some of his raps that
Mm,
he recorded and we remixed it. So it's called the Biggie Duets album. We
mm,
worked on that extensively on that for about a year, and other small projects. I did the MTV 2004 MTV Music Awards with when Puff did uh the Biggie tribute, the big orchestra tribute. I scored that. I did this all arrangements. I'm actually performing in that MTV Awards. I think it was 2004 with Snoop. So I also did I did a song with Snoop and Dog Pound on it's called It's Cracking All Night. It's featuring Puff again. And so I was working with Puff, and then Puff always came to me for like scoring. Like he had the Estee Lauder perfume back then. I forget this. I think it was called Unforgivable, right?
mm.
And they would just give him so much money. So what he would do, he would he would like do big campaigns and score them. So he would call me in to score like the music for the commercials. So I was so I did both Unforgivable commercial 1 and 2, Biggie Duets, the MTV Award. So I'm working with Puff, and then I ended up coming back to Atlanta. Um, I I love Atlanta. So we ended up back in Atlanta. So we were like, we're gonna do our own thing. So it was me, Stevie J, and his brother and one more person. So we said we just gonna do our own thing now. Because after Biggie Duets, um, we came down to Atlanta. So we started a little crew, and of course that didn't work. Egos got in the way. So we kind of branched out our separate ways, right? And at that time, music was changing too.
Mm.
What happened was the I love technology to this day. I ain't mad at it. Like I'm one of the first Pro Tools came out. I was a Pro Tools king. But what Pro Tools did, it allowed the industry to get infiltrated by people who ain't got no business trying to produce. But the technology made it so easy for them. Like
Mm.
they could press a few buttons and like, yo, I'm a producer. So what happened was we went from getting like, our fee for 40, $50,000 a track. Well, these labels and these A&R realized, well, we can go to this bedroom kid. He just press a few buttons and we can get him 500. Then we can get 10 tracks, right? So the game started changing, the money started changing,
Wow.
and for me, I'm a musician first, right?
Mm.
Like I said, I do it for free. So the music is really important to me. The auto tune came in. You mind you, I come from producing Faith Evans, Kelly Price, Boyz II Men. Auto tune, what is that? To getting in the studio, and I'm like sitting there, like I'm like, yo, really don't hear that you flat. So the whole industry has started changing, and after our little stint coming back like in 2006, from like 2006 to 2007, I really just started getting a sour taste in my mouth about the music, and I was like, this, that was like the first time that I lost like the passion for producing,
Wow.
and I get a call from my uncle. Well, he's a pastor in Clarksville, Tennessee, and he had always didn't want me to play for his church. I mean, this is just the perfect time. He calls me, yo, Doug, what you doing, man? Can you come play for church? And I was like thinking, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna come to Clarksville because I'm tired of this music. And hey, I need to get back to my roots anyway, because I come from playing in the church. So so I'm down in Clarksville. If you, no one would ever believe J Dub was in Clarksville, Tennessee, playing at a church, a Baptist church. But I did that for a few years, right? I'm playing it at my uncle's church, and then I get the bug though. I get, man, I want to produce because I'm seeing the games like the game needs me. I'm getting called like, Doug, where you at? In Atlanta, like, yo. So I started like coming like after church. I would drive down to Atlanta, hang out for the weekend. Then I drive back to Tennessee. So I'm getting the itch. So I'm in Atlanta one time, and I get a phone call from Shantae Page. Shantae Page used to work over at Kadar, Massenburg's label. She was a big wig. And I get a call from her. She's like, yo, Doug, what you doing? I'm over here. I'm the music supervisor over here at Tyler Perry Studios. She just fell out with this his composer. Can you give me like 40 or 50 music beds this weekend? And I'll, see if you can get the job. It's like, yeah. I do it like, if you don't know, for your audience, a music bed is like the outtakes in sitcoms, like dun, 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 dun.
Okay.
Or the music behind the little, skits they're doing. That's
Hmm.
the music beds. It's scoring, but it's for TV.
Yeah.
So I do the music beds. For me, that's like, yeah, I picked them out in one night. That was like Friday, Saturday. She had them. She said, "Oh, Dub, this is perfect. I'll let you know what he thinks Monday." Monday rolls around. I ain't thinking about nothing of it. J Dub, he loves it. You got the job, right? So I'm thinking that I'm going to get right back in the music industry, but he had me, so I was working every day, where I'm working exclusively for him. I was scoring House of Pain and Meet the Browns. In any play that he did, I'm scoring it. So I was so busy doing that for like two to 3 years that I
Wow.
really wasn't. I could give a hoot about producing records, and plus the money was way better in
Mm.
TV, because it worked like this: when you're scoring for a sitcom, there's no music or anything. There's not even, a lot of times, it's not even real studio audience. They'll put the laugh tracks in there and send it to me, right? So and so he sent it to me with notes. Okay, at 1 minute and 30 seconds, I wanted to feel this way with this music, but do this, do that, and you're done. So I look at the notes, like, oh, this is for me. Again, every type of music. So that's like, it's a dream job for me. And it's like, yo, do this. So I would look at it, and I scored all the seasons, mind you, on headphones. It wasn't in the studio. I had a laptop. They sent it to me. I pull up on my laptop, read the notes. This is what you want. Boom, boo, doo, doo, boom. Boom. Okay, I'm done. Email it back. Dub, we love it. Or okay, yeah, just cool. But I'll make a little changes if I had to. Really did I have to make arrangements, and then cut the check every Friday. I go to Tyler Perry Studios and I pick up my check. So it was sweet until the IRS calls. They called the studio. It's like, yo, don't cut Jada up no more checks. You cut all these checks coming to us. I started getting, all my checks started getting garnished. Come to find out, my old publishing company, they were getting my publishing checks and cashing them, being that it had my name and social security number on it. The IRS was charging me on money that I didn't even know I was getting. So I was like, yo, what's going on? What you mean the IRS calling you, talking about garnishing my stuff? I call the IRS and do some digging. Come to find out, they were cashing my checks, but it was in my name, and I got hit with an astronomical IRS bill, tax bill. So after I'm on the top of the world with uh
Mm.
Tyler, And it's like, oh shit, I'm going to court trying to battle them, trying to get my money back to pay the IRS because the IRS don't care. We don't care about none of that. Your name and your social security is on there, so you owe us. So I'm going back and forth with the publishing company, trying to get them to pay me the money that they stole. And how it works is these big companies, that's why they always get over because they take you to court so long. They got long pockets to pay the lawyers.
Mm.
They know the artist or the individual producer. After a while, your money's gonna run out, and when you ain't got no money to pay your lawyers, then the case is pretty much over. So, long story short, I ran out of money to the point where the judge even said, "Yo, son, you got a case, but at this point, you filed in the wrong jurisdiction. You need to file that in L.A." And by that time, it's like I'm 2 3 years deep. I ran out of money, So I did take it to L.A. for a second, but at that point, those lawyers out there, they wanted the cash. So that case pretty much was what it was. Like they stole the money. I got hit with a crazy tax bill that I ended up having to pay. You know, I had to pay it how I had to pay it, and I had to work it out how I had to work it out. So after the Tyler Perry stint, it was just, it was a time of reckoning, and it was just I had a very sour taste in my mouth about the business. But the only uh, light in that was after the Tyler Perry stint. It's called royalties, right? I still get my royalties from records, but I never got TV royalties before. And what happened was, shout out to Shantae. Shantae structured my deal where most of Tyler's composers, he owned the publishing and everything. Somehow, my deal had I owned all my work, and once it got picked up, it's in syndication to this day. That means reruns. So every time that a rerun comes on, I get a royalty check, and so that was a blessing through it all. So God, He still had, kept me afloat with that, and to this day, we're still in syndication, and those checks are still coming in. So that's a blessing. And fast forward to 2025, the advent of technology and the DSP is like now I have my own. I'm doing my own label, and finally, to about the publishing thing. Finally, after I believe it's like 10 years, you're publishing and your writers, no matter what, they can't hold you. But for so um, all your stuff reverts back to you. So now I own all my publishing and all my writers. So that's that's a blessing now. But I had to go through the fire. Like you gotta go through it to get to it. Like that's always my motto. Like if you don't go through nothing, like you ain't gonna have nothing. And unfortunately, in this business, it's always you gotta learn the hard way first. But if you can somehow weather the storm, because most people that been what I've been through, they would have been and tapped out, wouldn't be here. But I credit that a lot to my faith in God and having that strong spiritual upbringing. So my darkest hours, I always could lean on my faith and something on this that's like, yo, just push through. You just got to get through it one day at a time, dub. And so
Wow,
I can
goodness.
look back now and laugh and smile, but going through it, man, it was it was hell. But you just got to push through those times, and and keep the faith, man, and just stay positive, and eventually things work themselves out.
Yeah. I mean, you kind of went through I kind of went through a lot, and I wanted
Yeah,
to,
I mean, there's a lot,
yeah,
man.
yeah. But as it was, I wasn't prepared to stop you, so I just allowed you to go because it was a lot to get through. But I think you missed out a few things which most people would ask, oh, why didn't you ask him this and stuff? And
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
guess it was when you were at Daddy's house and being part of the Hitmen, um, especially with that SWV track. Um, were you surprised how well the track was and the fact that you were put in the video? Because I think if because your name is synonymous because he gives you a shout out and you're in the car, and so I mean most people will remember Stevie J and Chucky, and I don't know if they remember
Yeah.
any other hitmen because he called you out and stuff. How did that go down when
Yeah.
he's giving you a shout out so quickly in the midst of all that and you
Um, you know what? Everything was happening so fast back then. I really didn't really realize that he really gave me a shout out, right? Until maybe like a few weeks after the record had hit, and I'm out, I'm back home. I'm at some hotel, right? And it's like SWV is on the balcony, and I'm walking up, and it's like, yo, Dub, Puffin J Dub. Like they're saying a rap. And I was like, yo, he really did shout me out. And then so I'm watching the video. I was like, and he says Puffin J Dub, Platinum Stat. I was like, yo, he said my name. So it was like it it, it again, it just happened. Everything was happening so fast. I was just like, whoa. Um, I was like one of his favorites. So I think that's why he did it too. Um uh it was like because with me and Puff, right? Our relationship was he he's not a musician, right? He
Mm,
doesn't play anything,
mm,
but he does have an ear, right? He has great ideas, but he can't sing. You know what
mm.
I'm saying? But he knows how to make it go to anybody else. They were like, "What the hell is he doing?" But my ear was so in tune
Okay.
with him. He could say, "Make it do," and then I'll play it, and then he'll go crazy, right? So
Ah,
that's why he would call me all the time. I worked on pretty much every album that he did. I'm all over it to the point where, well, the first album, I'm all over it. No Way Out, I'm all damn near on every track playing, right? So
mm,
after that album, it was like how we would do his albums. He would do the album, have Timbaland, Swiss Beats, everybody come in, and they would do their beats, right? But at the end of the album, he would call me and say, "All right, Dub, it's time to finish the album." And I'll come in, I'll lay down, and I'll dissect their tracks, and I'll put
mm.
keys, I'll make a bridge on it. So our relationship was very tight as far as the production. So I could see why he put me, in that rap
Mm,
because I got like every time he had an idea, put you like this. A lot of times he'd go a lot of people and it's like they wouldn't get it. But every time
mm.
he would come to me with an idea, I pretty much make it a hit or make it hot.
Wow.
So, so I was in the video. So it was a good time. It was a good time to be a
What
bad
was your
boy hitman.
relationship with the others like Chucky Thompson, Stevie J? Were you
I
there
was a
with
fan.
okay.
I
Yeah, no, were you there with
was a fan of Chucky.
okay. Yeah, I think Chucky was one of my
Yeah, I did
favorite.
like I
Yeah.
sheesh. Um, I mean, again, I was still more like I was a hitman, but I was still starstruck, right? Because I just got I was new. but I was like the star. Like I was a freshman, but I was a starter, right? Because immediately, as soon as I got became a hitman, like I was working on first singles. So, the relationship with all of them, man, it was like Chucky, Doc, Stevie J, all of them. They just embraced me, like from jump. So it was to this day, it's a brotherhood. Like Stevie J is one of my best friends. Um, and I was able to build an incredible relationship with Chucky Thompson, to where
Mm,
he was like a mentor for me. Where like we would text each other, like we were really close. So, um, Nasheen, D Dot, like all of us, it was a brotherhood, man. And to this day, we're still brothers. It's no bad blood. It's like we don't see each other all the time, but you put us all in a room together, we pick up, like it was yesterday.
yeah.
This is like a fraternity almost. Once a hitman, always a hitman.
Tony
So
the
yeah,
the
it
Fats,
was a
the
great
D
relationship.
dots.
Tony Dofat, yeah. Oh, I love Tony. Yeah, all man, all great people, all great talented cats, man. And we all had our own thing that we were proficient in and just great at. And I think that's what also made us such a
Mm,
unstoppable crew back then. It was like we all brought something different to the table, but we
yeah,
were all at that level. So when we came together, it was like pretty much unstoppable.
yeah. Was Phonetic?
Yeah,
Was he there when you were the Phonetic?
maybe, but towards the tail end, maybe.
Okay.
Fanatic. Yeah.
Yeah, he did the Little Kim featuring Little C's oh, I can't
Oh
remember.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's probably a little bit after me. After I got
Okay.
there. Yeah.
Because yeah. So there's one track that I wanted to talk about, and you did the original version of Kelly Price, Friend of Mine.
Yeah.
I think the one that most of us are familiar with was the remix because, this is Mr. Biggs. How
This
you
is
doing,
Mr.
Mr.
Biggs.
Biggs?
How you
Uh,
doing, Mr. Biggs? Kelly. Yeah.
so
Right.
how did the
Yeah.
original? Let's talk about the original first before we talk about what your thoughts on the remix. But how did the original star come up with?
Um, the original, right? Uh, we were in LA. We were in LA, and it was me and Dent, my brother. Dent, shout out to Dent. Me and Dent got signed as Hitmen at the same time. So
Okay.
we're out in LA, and Dent had this sample. It was an Isley Brothers sample. That's really it was an I
Um,
I don't know what record it was, but Dent was looped it up, and we're just in the studio just banging out. Just Hitman. We were just banging out. Now forget Biggie. This last time I saw Biggie walked in the studio, and we spoke to Biggie. Again, I was a fan, so I was like, "Yo, we just seen Biggie, right?" So we go back in the room, me and Dent, and I was inspired, just by seeing Biggie. I was like, "Oh shit!" And he had the loop, the Isley Brothers loop.
Hmm.
Didn't think anything of the track back then. We were just doing 10, 15 tracks a day. That's just what we did. It was business as usual. Well, Kelly Price was writing a lot of the songs at the time,
Ah.
and she was like, "Duh, let me get this track." I was like, "Yeah, Kelly, go ahead." Let's say about 3 weeks later, she was like, "Duh, this is about to be my first single. Friend of mine." Let me check it out. She played it to me. It was a friend. I'm like, yo, record is freaking incredible, right? I mean, it was one of the biggest records back then. Like, you didn't hear records like that, right? So, um, we do the record. I didn't think anything of it, and it comes out, and it's a freaking hit, right? It's number one for a few weeks. It goes gold or whatever. So we're just overjoyed, but it was unexpected. And it's like, I will say this, like, you never know which song is going to be a hit, right?
Hmm.
That's why you just create and you create. So Never knew it was going to be a hit. It turned out to be a hit. And then next thing I know, yo, man, it's just like, man, have you heard the remix? I'm like, what is this? The remix to y'all single. This is Mr. Big. So first off, I was like, I was mortified too, because again, I'm a fan of R. Kelly and the Isley Brothers. So it's like, yo, they remixed my single. That's what I'm thinking. Like, yo, that's how I'm looking at it. And then after a while, it starts picking up, and that starts really getting more shine
Yeah.
than the original. So I'm like, yo. So I was kind of conflicted. It was like I
Ah.
was kind of like mortified, like, yo, R. Kelly remixed it. It's like, wait a minute, that song getting more shine than the original, and the original way better than this remix, in my opinion. Right? So it's like I was kind of conflict. On one hand, it's like, yeah, they remixed your freaking single, dub. But at the same time, it's like it's getting more shine than the original, which I know to me is better. But so it's to this day I'm like, but when people ask me, which always the original is better than me. Because
Okay.
I mean, to me, but
I
I
think
guess I'm biased because I produced it.
yeah, I
So,
think so because the
you know what I
remix
mean?
was
But yeah,
the video and like what's going with, and then they continued with that theme with Shantae Savage and Mr. Big. Okay. Yeah, they continued with that theme. So, I lost your voice. Yeah, okay.
yeah,
Yeah, and I was
hi,
just saying that
yeah,
after that single, they did the Mr. Biggs and they did other tracks, so
yeah,
it
yeah.
kind
The
of
Mr.
blew up and
Biggs
stuff.
thing.
Oh,
Yeah, again, I think the original,
I'm
you
sure.
know, is
Okay.
better. But yeah, but you know what? I will say that I did enjoy,
The
the
whole
remix
video
as
and the whole
well.
drama and
You know,
everything.
right? Yeah, it was drama.
The whole
Like so.
drama. The other thing you touched on
Yeah.
that you just kind of went was that you did I Refuse and What If for Aaliyah. Now, the while you were going through what you were going through with Noontime in Atlanta, was Puff aware? Did he not step in, or had you left the Hitmen to go back?
Puff, Puff was aware, but he kind of stayed clear of
Oh, he
it.
didn't. Okay.
So because it was more of he was in New York, Noontime is in Atlanta.
Mm.
So it was like anytime he called me, I'll just hop on a plane and go to New York. So it
Okay.
wasn't
So
a conflict really with Puff. My thing was with Noontime.
okay.
So, but yeah, he he didn't intervene in it. It was just what it was.
But
It
then,
was
how
just a
did you
situation.
leave the Hitmen to go and join Barry? Then did you have to have a
Well,
conversation or?
that that was easy because my contract with Puff was only for a few, right? So once that term was up, it was over. I just didn't resign
Okay.
with the Hitman. So it was, on that end, yeah, it was smooth. It wasn't a problem with me with
Okay.
Puff. But my thing was with Noontime.
Yes. Okay. And then the other question was, um, I don't know, is it because she passed away? But I on my channel every day I run a poll and I would, rank songs. And anytime Aaliyah is featured, she always wins. And she has such a value, a respect, or sort of almost like Princess Diana does. There's the way people she's enduring. And I don't know if I see it the same way, but you've known her personally and you recorded with her. How was she? And then her singing style, what made her as unique as people now seem to keep remembering her?
With Aaliyah? you're right. She has a following to this day, man. It's incredible. Um, and it's because her spirit, man. It was like she was like an angel to be at her level back then. A lot of them, and I've met a lot of them. They're divas, right? She was like one of the most humble, calm, fun spirited persons that you could like just down to earth. It wasn't like, oh, I'm Aaliyah. It was like, yo, hey, yo, let's make this record. What you got? It wasn't so with her, her spirit was such that a lot of people gravitated to her. And like you
Mm,
said, it's like to this day, it's like a Princess Diana thing. Like she was just a great spirit, a great person. And her voice, the world didn't even get a chance to hear how angelic her voice is. Like
mm.
her voice was simply amazing, right? You got to hear it a little bit on the Red album and the work she did before that, but where she was headed and
Mm.
the things that we were doing was really showcasing her vocal skills. Like when I say she could go, she didn't even need the auto tune, no auto tune. Like she just get in there, and she was a workaholic, and she was a perfectionist though. Like everything had to be perfect. Um, but yeah, man, she just an angel. They don't make them like her anymore.
But you said you did more
Definitely.
songs that didn't come out. You recorded more songs,
Yeah.
more than just the two.
Yeah. It's that's what we call in the vault. So we record we recorded songs that didn't make the album, but they're on drives. You know what I mean? That I have them in the vault. Um, and a lot of the stuff was stuff that she planned on putting out, after the Red album. But, unfortunately, a lot of that stuff got cut short. Yeah.
But who owns it then? Do you own it as the producer? Does it her estate or?
No, well, technically, the label owns it, right? Because they pay for the studio time, so they own the masters.
Mm.
So even if I wanted to put it out, I have to get clearance from her estate, and that's probably not gonna ever happen. So it's just stuff that that's for me.
I'm surprised they haven't come to say we let's put up a new Aaliyah album and get all the tracks that she recorded to do. Don't they?
They've tried to do that several times, and it just doesn't. I don't know. It just hasn't happened the right
Okay.
way. And some of the stuff that they put out is just like half-ass. It's like she definitely would have improved of some of the
Oh,
stuff that they put out, you
okay.
know. So it's yeah. So they try to do it, piece stuff together here and there, but they never was able to put anything together that really represented her. Because a
Okay.
lot of the stuff, is unfinished, right?
Yeah.
Like it's a verse here, verse there. It's like,
Uh,
okay, when we get back to the States, we're gonna finish it, right? But when I get
okay.
done shooting, like we had huge plans, man. It was like she was coming out black, uh, black from Playa. He wrote
Yeah,
a lot
yeah,
of her
yeah.
stuff.
Static as
Playa,
well.
like yeah, Static. Like they had like a whole group that they were doing. Like Aaliyah, Static, Playa, Black, Smokey.
Mm,
Yeah, so it was like a whole movement, really, of music that we were doing. Post, it was supposed to be post Queen of the Damn, post
yeah.
Red album. Like the Red album was like going to be the album that kicked it off. And then
Wow.
from that was going to be birthed this group, my group, this, this, that, and the other. But
Wow.
it never happened because unfortunately that plane went down.
Yeah.
And when
I
that
mean,
plane went down, a lot of, our
yeah.
plans went down with it.
it almost feels.
Yeah.
I mean, there's conspiracies around that, but that's definitely. There was a couple more questions I want to ask you, but hold on.
It's all good.
You know, there's a track that you did for Total Rain, and I'm like, oh, okay, this
Oh
guy's
man.
just doing the Beethoven piano. What do you remember about playing the intro and the piano on that amazing? And you know, I'm very good friends with Pam, and I just love her voice on that track.
Man. I again I was a fan of Total. So shout out to Dent. Dent was my crate guy. Like he always would have the great records, right? And that's a sample. I don't know what sample it was, but I played it over. It's like a sample. Dun, 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 dun. And when I heard it, the sample being that piano is my first love, right? I think that's the most beautiful instrument in the world. Like I love that. So it was when I heard the sample, I was like, oh yeah, we're gonna kill this dent. And of course we did the beat, the music, and again, Kelly Price. She wrote it, and the rest, as they say, is history with that one. Rain. Um, but I also did another track on Toto. It's called Crave on the Three Strikes soundtrack. I believe Three
Okay.
Strikes. That now that's one of my favorite songs that I did
Oh,
on I like that song better than Rain that
okay.
I did. Yeah, but
Okay. No, I
it's
didn't hear the
on a
soundtrack.
soundtrack called
Okay.
Crave. Yeah,
I
it's on the Three Strikes soundtrack. Yeah, check that out. It's called
okay.
Crave. Three Strikes
Nice.
soundtrack.
Great. Yeah, I will check that out and stuff like that. Okay. Um, what was it?
Yeah.
Okay. What was it like? You worked on Evolution, Boys to Men Evolution, and I do
Wow.
wonder what you. I think one of the disappointments I had with Boys to Men on that album is that they sort of went away from their formula of ballads and stuff. And I
Yeah.
know you and Puff did, I think I Can't Get Away, and then you did To the Limits, which was a nice ballad. So it wasn't
Yeah.
like the track that they came out with. But what do you remember
Right.
working with those guys at that time?
Like again, everybody that I basically worked with back then, I was a fan of, right? I just ended up working with them. So, at this time, Bad Boy Hitmen is hot. Everybody wanted a record from us. So, of course, Boys and Men wanted a record from us. And being that we were more hip hop,
Mm,
up making you dance,
yeah,
that's what we brought to the table, right?
yeah,
So that's why, to answer that question, that's how they kind of veered off into
yeah,
doing more ups, right? Than the
yeah.
ballads. But working with them, man, they are one of the best groups to work with of all
Wow.
time because they're all of them are professional.
Mm.
And when it's time to get in that booth, man, I know the songs that I cut with them. I didn't have to tell them to recut nothing.
Wow.
Nate, Sean, Wanye, when I say they went in there, it's pretty much one take, sung the verse down, did the ad libs, and how they would do it. We cut at their studio.
Very.
Well, they had a studio, and I never forget. It was a big SSL room, but we cut it, and how they cut. They would go in the booth and turn all the lights off. Like you couldn't even see in the booth, right? And I'm just sitting at the booth, right? Again, I'm like, yo, I'm like, in my mind, I can't believe I'm producing
And it's
Sean and Nate and Boyz II Men, right? This is crazy. But it was a great time too because they're so down to earth, man. And they embraced me. And it was just like, because I think we did about a month going back and forth from New York to their studio, just being in their lab because we recorded a lot of their stuff well, I know all of my songs I recorded at their studio.
Mm,
Typically back then, a lot of the artists would come to hit to Bad Boy, um, and cut. But for that project, I remember every time I would jump on the train, I'm Jersey or somewhere, and we have to go there. And a lot of times I end up staying a few days or the weekend, cutting. But it was a lot of fun.
mm.
They had a huge facility where they had a basketball court,
Wow.
gym, kitchen, offices. Because I think they had a deal. They had something because they had a whole compound, right? It was a great time. But when it was time to record, man, I'm sitting behind the booth. I mean, behind the board, I'm like, yo, I can't believe I'm cutting. But I was a little, they had the butterflies, right? Because I was like, how do you tell Wanye if he's flat? How do you tell him to see this shit over, right? But man, when I say they went in there, they cut, it's pitch black, you can't see, and I hit play on the thing, and it was like magic, bro. That
Wow.
song "To the Limit," when Nate comes in, I guess you wonder where I've
Mm.
been. When he was saying that line, I was like, I didn't show it, but I was like, my mouth hit. I was like, oh my god, these cats, these cats, the real deal, Holyfield, bro. Ain't none of that. Yo, can you sing this over his flat? See, man, he came in, he laid his verse down so smooth. Sean went in there, did the same thing, laid his verse down so smooth. And then when it was time to do the Wanye does all the end, the vamp and the running. When I say that boy, whoa, bro. Like, I'm still thinking now. You got me thinking about the session. Yo, bro, that was one of the most magical sessions
Wow.
that I've been in because they were so professional and so on point, bro. It was like I didn't have to do nothing, bro. Just sit there. It's like, y'all done? Okay. 'Cause it got to a point when Wanye was doing his part. I didn't even want to stop, because back then records were we let the tape roll. It's 5 minutes. He's still going. I ain't like, yo, do not. I'm telling the engineer, do not cut the tape off. Let him go. Right? So it was yo, yeah, those cats are the real Boys to Men are the real deal, bro.
Wow.
It's no joke. All of them, and all of them could go. Even all of them could go. So, and
Okay.
it's a blessing though too because I was on the final track where not Sean, the one that talks. What's his name?
Michael. Michael McCleary. Michael.
Michael is talking on my record. On To the Limit. On the To Limit, yes, and I'll paint shit last, and I'll do. I was like, yo, so yeah, yeah, that was classic, bro.
Okay.
Wow, yeah, Boys and Men, the best.
Okay. A group
Boys
that
and Men, the best.
I'm recently very close to, a Law, and you worked on their Sunny Days albums. Do you remember them, a Law?
Yeah, wow, Allure.
You did the
Yep,
Shore.
I do. I do remember them. That which was what's the name of the
The
song?
Shore?
What's the name of the song?
The
The show?
Shore.
That's at the beginning of my career, right?
Oh, that was beginning.
I
Okay.
believe. Yeah, Allure. I believe it was at the beginning. I did. Well, I remember mixing at Dark Studios. Um, and talented group, man. Super talented group.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will say that. Yeah.
Oh, you also did worked on Tamir's debut album. Um, Mario Winans was doing quite a bit of stuff. Then Tim and Bob did a So Into You. Jermaine Dupri was on there.
Yep.
Were you with the Hitmen when you did got called to do Tamir, or were?
That was right before I got with the Hitman. I was with Noontime.
Oh, so
Noontime
they.
kind of brokered that deal. And Man, she was incredible talent. Like I had heard of Tamia, but I didn't know that she was a vocal powerhouse like that, bro.
She's one of my
She
favorite
got in the
female
booth and
singers.
blew me away. Right. And a lot of and I don't think a lot of people understand how serious her vocals are.
Yeah.
So yeah, I did Show Me Love. That was and that was really one of the records that I really like. I kind of produced that whole record by myself. I kind of engineered it.
Mm.
I engineered it, I mixed it, and I wrote the majority of the song. So it was an amazing experience. Uh, but I will say this: I didn't get along with her manager. Her manager, I forgot who her manager was at the time.
Oh, is it Lionel
I don't
Richie's
remember her
ex-wife?
name. Lionel Richie's ex-wife. Oh my, she was a handful. But Tamia, Tamia, Tamia was an angel, but her manager was something else, man.
How you
Yeah,
say?
but yeah. I ain't
Why
gonna
would a
lie, bro. I'm gonna keep
producer
it
have an
100.
issue with the manager? How would you...
Because she was one of the managers that's overbearing, trying to tell me how to do my job.
Ah,
You know, she was just kind of overbearing, just too much. It's like,
wow.
yo, in my mind, I didn't say it. I was like, yo, aren't you the manager? So just manage, let us cut the song and you worry about the paperwork, right?
Okay.
But it got to a point where she kind of got it and she stayed clear of my sessions. But at the
Okay.
beginning, like yeah, she was just a little bit overbearing.
Yeah. In fact,
But yeah.
I was talking to
Yeah.
Tim.
Great song though.
Yeah, no, I was talking to Tim Kelly from Tim and Bob, and he spoke about I mean, the fact that this was a Quincy Jones album, so there was a lot of money behind Warner Brothers
Sheesh. Yeah, man.
I'm sure.
Yeah. I didn't I didn't realize Quincy Jones was really that deep in the record until years pretty much after it came out. It's like, yo, Dub, did you know? Like somebody had to put it to my attention. And I'm reading, I was like, yo, he was that involved in that
It's his
project.
label. It was his.
So it was his label. So, it was like, yo, you really had to be yeah, your point, P's and Q's to be a part of that album. So,
Wow.
I was on point back then, clearly. Yeah. And Quincy Jones approved of the record.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
So
yeah.
yeah,
I
it
mean,
was
that's
pretty
that's
dope.
it. But then also, "Come to Me" with Carl Thomas. Uh, was that a Bad Boy
Mhm.
type of album?
Carl Thomas, man. Love Carl, man. Me and Carl, we go way back. Uh, you could say that I'm one of the first people that really kind of introduced. Well, I helped introduce Carl to the public. He did, I believe it was Keenan Ivory Wayne's show, a talk show, and that was like the first time that the world got to see Carl Thomas. And back then, I would play behind him,
Ah.
and I played piano, and he sung something. I don't remember the song, but I just played piano, and he went crazy. And after that, he really blew up. But it was really that Keenan Ivory Wayne show. But
Okay.
we always had a great relationship, Carl. Me and Carl Thomas. Yeah, great
Yeah.
cat, great cat.
Yeah.
He did
Okay.
that song "If I Should Die Tonight" on No Way Out that I did.
Oh. Yeah, yes, yes. On
Yeah,
the Bad Boy family.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. The No
Puff
Way
That.
Out. He's "If I Should Die Tonight, though it may fall before the time." Yeah. Oh my God, he killed that song. If you, whoa, yeah. Carl's crazy, man. His voice is from the gods, no doubt. Yeah, yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, were you, I mean, I'm sure it wasn't surprised that the Bad Boy, the the No Way Out album really blew up. I mean, it had Benjamin's and all the other tracks on there, but Bad Boy was hot. Um,
Yeah.
but um, but for you, I guess being in that stuff. I mean, I know you did some stuff with 112, but was it mainly just the interludes you did on there, Room 112, or did you do?
Well, yeah, I did an interlude, and then I did the duet. The only duet that they have with Faith.
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
produced that song. So it's a 112 Faith duet that I did on 112. And I did a interlude for them. Yeah, but I didn't do a lot of songs with them, but I did do the duet and the interlude for them. Yeah, 112. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because they're self-contained and stuff as well. Um, and then
Yep.
f the
Yep.
final thing is that you did on her sophomore album, you worked with Faith. Do you have to get permission from Chucky to say, because that was her go-to guy, Chucky? So how does that work? It's like,
You know what? I think Chucky knew that I was a fan because like I tried to emulate a lot of his stuff when I got there, right? Because again, I was a fan, so I was up on all his production. So I think he saw that like in me. So it was never like, yo, trying to get my sound or get my artist. It was like he embraced it, right? He embraced it because I guess he saw like, yo, he been studying me. Yeah, yeah, he got it. Right. So for me to get that many songs though on an album, I didn't know. I just looked up. I had about six records on it on her
Wow.
sophomore album in the title track, Keep the Faith. So it was like, yeah, no, he was totally cool. He was totally cool with it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He was totally cool with it. But yeah.
So now that we're in 2025, then what do we expect to see from J-Dub?
Well, um, I've been working with a cat named Max C over in Finland. He's in Finland. He used to
Wow.
do a lot of the EDM stuff. They would call him. He's a vocal powerhouse. If you want to, I would compare him to like Charlie Wilson. He
Wow.
writes, he sings. So we've been doing a lot of going back and forth. I'll send him music. He sent me back
Mm.
ideas. And I was listening to some of our stuff that we did like the other day, like, well, this summer. It's like, man, we need to put this out. He's like, yeah, man, we need to put it out. So I had the idea. I was like, yo, we gonna make a group, Digital Connection, right? Because we're doing everything on the internet. He's in Finland. I'm here. Digital Connection. It makes sense. And so the record that we're gonna put out, I was like, man, it need a female on it. So he had somebody in North Carolina, a chick in North Carolina. She's on the record. So now we're a group because it's called Digital Connection. We got a single dropping
Wow.
November. It's
Okay.
called Dance Floor. It's a real fun song. What the industry needs is it's not you're not gonna be standing on the wall when this come on. It's one of
Okay.
them. So it's a fun song and working on our project now. It's going to be released. Well, the single is going to drop in November, and then the project looking like drop on my birthday, 2026, March 22nd. So I'm working
Wow.
on that. It's keeping me busy. Also, I'm working on another project with a good friend of mine. He used to be in my group when we were signed back with Black Ground Virgin
Mm.
called Rockstar and the Downtown Players. Well, he was a player. I was a rock star. He's one of my players in the group, but he has a very unique falsetto type of Curtis Mayfield, like
Mm.
blah type voice. He's in LA, so he got that LA swag, and it's called Brand New Funk. So I'm working on his project. It's really funky, really progressive. So that's dropping next year. And man, I'm just being creative right now because you know, the way the industry is, it's it's like just put the music out. You know what I mean? It's not like, of course, I'm not chasing label deals anymore or record the deals. So I'm just, it's all about just leaving here. I've heard a lot of times like, yo, you want to leave here with nothing left, right?
Okay.
And I have so much music. So it's like, it's not doing me any good sitting on my drives, right?
Okay.
And I got like terror bits of music. So it's just
Yeah.
now I'm at a point in my career, especially now that I own all my publishing, all my writers. It's like I'm putting everything out, bro. Everything. So I'm working on groups, projects, new artists. And the thing that I love that I'm doing now is like taking like a lot of the fresh artists, the new artists,
Mm,
grabbing them up, mentoring them, and
mm.
producing them and showing them how to release their music without going to a label and being used by what's that 0.0003 cents a
Yeah.
stream.
Yeah, the
No.
streaming services and
So I'm
stuff.
sure yeah, so I'm showing them how to bypass that, man. So it's just like now I'm more in like mentor mode,
Mm.
and I'm just sharing like all of my experiences, all my horror stories with, the next
Yeah.
generation. So hopefully, like we talked about at the beginning, like why are these kids still making the same mistakes?
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
hopefully, now what I'm doing, I'm trying to mentor and just really get my message out about the music. So and really tell my stories because when I was going through it, when you're going through it, through the court battles, through the bad contracts, you don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
Right. So when I was going through, like, I didn't, and plus I'm dealing with it. I'm still in it. I don't want to
Yeah,
talk
yeah,
about it. Like,
yeah.
why don't you do interviews? Why, like, yo? But it's like now, like over the past few years or whatever, this is the most that I've ever done interviews. It's like
Wow.
I enjoy it because it's like they're like, yo, Dub, you got so much history, you got so much knowledge that you can give, and it's like, yeah. So it's like that's where I'm at. It's like emptying my vaults
Yeah,
and really giving back,
yeah.
that wisdom.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. Yeah.
I mean, Atlantis is small. I mean, it's big, but it's small. Um,
Yeah, it's
and
definitely
have you,
small.
when I mention that is because, the city, have you guys from Noontown sort of, if you sort them out, is that all water under the bridge? People have moved on?
Yeah, yeah, man. That's all water under the bridge. Matter of fact, when I see Ryan, it's like, yo, what's up? Of course, I bet you he wouldn't have me over for dinner. None of them would have me over for dinner or anything or a birthday party, but it's not, where we hate each other. I mean,
Okay.
I think we're at a point now, wisdom kicks in and it's like, hey,
Mm,
it was what it was.
yeah.
It was a period, it was what it was. But nah, it's no animosity, at
Mm.
least not on my end.
No,
Like
yeah,
it was what it
yeah,
was, man.
yeah,
I
yeah,
moved on. I hope they moved on.
yeah.
Yeah, it was what it was. But yeah, yeah,
O-
it's no, but I don't run into them too much. I'm pretty much a hermit. I don't go out unless I'm going to the
Yeah.
studio.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? To go work out or something. But yeah, so
So when I interview producers and as I wrap up, I always ask, I have two questions. One would be if they picked their seven favorite producers, who would make that list? And then the other one would be, of all the people you've worked with, who would make your sort of top 10 artists that
wow.
you've worked on? But if we start off with producers, because that's people that you look at and thought, man, these guys, man, if only I could, that you really admire.
Number one, Teddy Riley. Um, just incredible. I mean, he was really one of the main reasons why like my style is with like new uh the new Jack, that era. I mean, I wanted to be Teddy Riley. So Teddy Riley, Jam and Lewis, The
Mm.
stuff they did with SOS Band, Midnight Star, The Time, the list go, Janet Jackson. Ah, sheesh. So Jeremy Lewis, Babyface. Oh my God. I mean, his catalog is sick.
No, no. I always
R.
ask the
Kelly.
question when you say babyface because there were two
Okay.
variants of babyface. There's the alien babyface, and there's just babyface when he went solo. Which version of babyface are
Okay.
you referred to?
Solo. The solo
Okay,
baby face.
okay,
Yeah, the solo
okay,
baby face. But yeah, when he was one writing terror.
okay,
Yeah.
okay,
That,
okay.
that baby face.
And then you mentioned R. Kelly, you
Yeah,
said?
definitely a fan. R. Kelly. Every album that he did, I was a
Mhm.
fan. It
Yeah.
was just um his production, the way it went down. Then every time I realized a lot of the stuff he wasn't that wasn't all him. He had
Oh,
another cat doing it, but I looked up. Yeah, I forget his name, but another cat was playing a lot of the stuff.
is it
Forget
Ron
his name,
Eastman?
but R. Kelly. You might be, yeah, it might be Ron East or something like that. But I know he played keys on a lot of
Yeah,
that
yeah, yeah,
stuff
yeah. But he,
that
yeah,
Kels did.
yeah, yes, yes, yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, R. Kelly and his team. I will say
okay,
that.
okay,
R.
okay,
Kelly and his team, right?
okay, okay, okay.
Um, uh, uh, who else did I look up to? Man, it would be Teddy Riley, Jammin' Lewis, Babyface, R. Kelly, uh, Chucky Thompson, of
Okay,
course,
Chucky Thompson, yeah. So you got
Stevie
two.
J,
Stevie J, okay, one
uh,
more.
yeah, Stevie J, D. Dot,
He's naming
another
you.
hitman.
Yes,
Yeah, I
okay.
mean, it is what it is.
What about Devontae? Would Devontae
Who
have made
else? I, oh
Devontae?
my God. Yeah. How can I forget Devontae? Devontae Swing. Sheesh. I got a story about Devontae. I never forget. Again, the mini room was where everybody came. Devontae came in that mini room one day when I said he had them speakers sound like an earthquake. Like, yeah, Devontae Swing, yeah, definitely in the top 10. And lastly, it would be Timberland.
Okay.
Timberland is dope. Yeah. Timberland is dope. I
I
like
heard when it comes
his
to
yeah.
drum
I like
production,
what he does.
drum beats, I mean, he can just hear the beat and just program.
Tim is sick with it. Yeah. So yeah, that was definitely
Okay.
my top 10. Yeah.
Okay. Artists that you produce, who would make it okay, top 10 that you when you've mentioned Boys to Men, but who else would make that list?
Kelly Price, Boys II Men, Faith Evans, 112, Tamia, Total. Um, this is a group that I did. They didn't really make it because it was because they were on Mariah Carey's label when she was married to Tommy Mottola, right? So when they got divorced, he kind of, extra label. There's this group called 7 Mile.
Oh,
These
yeah, yeah.
cats were incredible.
Looking for
It's a
someone.
group called 7 Mile. I believe that. Yeah. 7 Miles is all of them cats could sing.
Oh,
Who else? Of course, Carl Thomas.
okay.
Um, uh, who else? Um, of course, in SWV. Yeah,
Okay.
SWV. Oh, how can I forget? I had the privilege of working on a project with Gladys Knight. So of course
What?
Gladys Knight is gonna be up there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's called Searching for the Real Thing. It was an independent project she put out, but yeah, I produced that, shot a video to it
Oh,
too.
okay.
And of course Aaliyah. Aaliyah would be up there. Yeah, definitely
Yeah.
Aaliyah.
I mean, who which
Shoot it.
did you
What's what?
Biggie? Did you ever you only did you ever record Biggie?
Biggie duets. Yeah. Well, after he passed, I worked on a duets
Okay.
album, but I didn't work. in the booth produce him,
Okay.
technically. But I did produce on that album. Matter of fact, I produced on two of Biggie's post albums. I did the Biggie Duets, and then I also produced on the King and I,
King and
the
I with
one with
Faith.
Faith in him. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I produced on that too. So
Wow.
yeah. Oh, definitely. And how can I forget Tank? Oh, Tank is definitely a Tank. Yeah, Tank would be up there too.
Oh, yeah. You know
Yeah.
what? I moved from the US in 92 to the UK, and I kind of
Oh, okay.
I fell out of love with the music industry. I worked briefly at
Ah,
Edmonds, and so anything, most stuff that was released in the 2000s, I just so I never really got to know Tank as an
okay.
artist. Um,
Yeah.
I never really got to know him as an artist, but most of the artists from the
And
90s.
incredible voice. I would say that. I would say he's the Teddy Pendergrass of his generation,
Wow. Okay.
hands down. Yeah,
Okay.
the boy can go.
I need to, and then all-time favorite song, not a J Dub song, but just any artist. And I'll start off by saying that mine is Michael Jackson's "The Lady in My Life." So I know that that's my all-time favorite song, but can you look down of all the songs or albums and have a favorite song or favorite album?
Woof. Wow, that's a great. There's so many great albums. I wouldn't
Yeah.
start there, but the song, Earth, Wind, and Fire. That's the way. That's the way of the world. That's the way of the world. Um, Earth, Wind, and Fire is hands down one of my favorite groups. Their body of work is incredible. So I would say that's the way. Groove Tonight, September.
Okay.
Sheesh. There's so many hits.
Okay.
Um, yeah, so I mean that's a tough question, bro. So I, I would say it would be between That's the Way of the World and really like if you want to get a little bit more current, I would say Michael Jackson too. Remember the Time.
Oh,
I
okay.
love that
Wow.
record. Remember the Time? Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty dope.
Okay,
I mean,
okay.
you put that on like it is what it is. It go crazy.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But
So
it ain't no lady in my
yeah.
life.
But it's so many songs, man.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you're right. You're right. It ain't no lady in my life, but it sure is a groove. It got a
No, no,
groove. You
definitely,
know what I'm saying?
definitely.
It's gonna make
Wow.
you move.
Well, I have to appreciate, I mean, yes, I know we started slightly late and stuff, but I know I didn't ex know
No
the direction
worries.
that this was going to go. And especially, people probably would be like, wow, look what you've experienced in such a short period of time. And it
Yeah.
almost sounds like it sounded like a movie, from you're combining Best Man's Wedding with Scarface, with the shoot ups and court cases and
Bro,
Johnny
it is
Cochran
a
as your
matter of
lawyer.
fact. I literally have a book. Somebody writing a book on my life story. So
Wow.
it's yeah, it's deep, man. Yeah, yeah. It's about my life in the industry, just coming up as a kid in Detroit. You know, just thinking that I'm going to be a gospel musician again in the veins of a Kirk Franklin type.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
thinking
yeah,
I'm just
yeah.
going to be doing gospel all my life, and I ended up in secular world in the music business. So
It, is
it's
that
been
coming
one
out
hell
next?
of a ride.
Is that coming out, the book?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We've been working on it for a few years, going back and
Okay.
forth.
Okay.
But think 2026 looks like it'll finally
Okay.
be ready.
And
Good
then
time.
and then the final question then becomes, what about the church? After all what you've experienced and stuff,
Yeesh.
where's the church?
Man, you know what? I'm always gonna love the church, but I think I've evolved so much where I don't ever see myself just like doing Sunday services again, like just playing. If anything, I just don't see myself doing that anymore. Again, because I think I've evolved spiritually and I just know too much to sit up in church on Sunday and hear the same sermon over and over and over again. But I wouldn't mind, like maybe, every now and then going back and just sitting in and just playing through a service. I mean, because
Okay.
that's my first love. Again, I started 11 years old, man, playing and when I say I played every Sunday,
Mm.
first Sunday, second Sunday, third Sunday, fourth Sunday, and some months, fifth Sunday.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I played for revivals, every revival, the funerals, the weddings,
Yeah.
it was church.
Yeah.
So, I wouldn't mind, going back every now and then, but playing every Sunday, no, no, I know too much. No.
Ever a chance of doing on your own independent label, doing an inspirational album, in the
Man,
vein of Kelly Franklin or Ty that you had said that you were there before they came out?
well, you know what? I believe I did it and finished it in 2016. I already have an album, a gospel inspirational album. It's called My Diary to God.
Mm.
And it was really during that time when I'm going through court, I'm battling about my publishing
Publishing and Ty
and
hours.
just like post, Tyler Perry, and it was just a period, and I was just in the studio, and the songs just started coming to me,
Mm.
and it was just, it's kind of a inside look into what I was going through. Is
Mm.
really faith based and inspirational,
Mm.
and I think a lot of songs. I think I really recorded it for myself, because a lot of songs got me through that period.
Yeah.
But yeah, I could put it out tomorrow and it'll sound fresh.
Mm.
So that's definitely on the horizon too. Because it's
Okay.
like for me, I'll sit down. Again, I got terabits of music, so I'll sit down in one session and I'm like, I need to put that out. I need to put that out. So this is
Mm.
like now just formatting everything in a project wise and being,
Okay.
again, it's 2025. I ain't got to wait on nobody,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
Put it out. So yeah, yeah. So it's gonna be a
Okay.
lot of music coming from J Dub. Yeah, yeah,
Because when you were
no
going for your
doubt.
story, I remember R. Kelly doing "You Save Me." His that is Chocolate City. Then he
Yeah.
had "You Save Me," gave me a second chance, and I actually did enjoy
Yep.
listening to that because it came from a place where, man, he was going. Well, I'm sure if he could write another one now, he probably would. But I guess it's the
Oh
one
yeah.
thing that
He
you
read a whole album.
probably would notice about the industry is that. Um, if you aren't held if you don't have a strong faith, you can be pulled
Oh
in
my God.
directions on. But how have you met? How did you think? I mean, you said you almost did 40 for just shooting a shooting in the air. But how do you
Yeah.
what? How did you manage to? Is it that not staying in New York and just always having moving back to Atlanta? Did that keep you from being in the
Well,
headlines or being in prison right now?
yeah. Yeah. I believe it definitely did. Because again, Puff would give me a call like on a weekend, like a Friday, right? Yo, Dub, we gotta work. Whoom, whoom, bop. So I jump on the plane Friday night and see when I got to the studio, I'm still a workaholic when it comes to the music. When I get in my zone, I'm in my
Mm.
zone. And I can work 36 hours straight. I ain't gotta see it outside. Just order me something to eat and I'm good. So with him, I would go up maybe like a Friday, check in the room, straight to the studio, bang out to maybe like Sunday night. All right, I'm good. You got everything. Monday, I'm back on the plane back home, right
Okay.
to Atlanta. So that kept me out of a lot of the riffraff that was going on up in New York. You know what I mean? So, and then again, it's like again, I'm still I'm a church boy at heart, bro.
Mm,
So it's like I wasn't really into the club life too much.
mm.
Um, the only club that I went to really was Gentlemen's Club. I would frequent that. I like that. But I would hit the Gentlemen's Club and then I'm home though, man. I think by me being like a homebody too, that
Mm,
kept me out of a lot of the riffraff. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
I just love being home,
yeah, yeah.
So
Well,
yeah.
it's
And
safer.
of course my faith,
Mm.
man, is it? It's safer. It's always safer at home. But but the thing is though, I'm kind of anomaly, like I'm different, but it's so easy to get caught up in the bright lights and the
Mm.
fast lifestyle and being out and that fame and oh everybody sees me. I think what saved me too in my mind coming from the church, I was already a star. Like when I got on that organ back at
Okay.
home in Detroit, oh here comes
Mm.
J-Dub. He about to light it up. So I was kind of used, to like, oh, Dub is the greatest. Oh, so when I got to the secular world, it was like I was kind of used to it, right? It was like, yeah, okay, I've been great. Yeah, I just figured it
You're just
out.
catching up now.
It wasn't new to me, right? But a lot of times these new artists, it's so new to them. It's like, oh my
Mm.
God, and they get caught up, in that side. But me, it was never. I never got caught up into the fame part of it because again, I always thought I was famous anyway in my mind,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So that
yeah.
helped.
Did you ever
Yeah.
connect with any of the other sort of Christian producers like Darkchild or Warren Campbell or Stanley Brown? Those who came from the
You
church.
know what? I had a a a great time with Ronnie Jerkins. It was a phase where he was doing a lot of stuff out in LA, and I got a chance to kind of sit down and vibe and work with him.
Mm,
Um, man, co- coolest cat, one of the coolest cats ever. Real humble cat, but again, we kind of kindred spirits because he come from the church too,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
So yeah. So we kind of got each other, and our styles are really similar.
Mm.
Even back in the day, they was like, duh, that sound like that Roddy track sound like something you would do, right? So um we're we're definitely, alike in a lot of ways. So I got a chance to really vibe with him. But pretty much on the gospel part, I never, was really in it too deep because I got into the secular world, and then I, I did have a one gospel act. She was on Tommy Boy Gospel,
Tommy Boy,
and a
Tommy
whole
Boy.
album I did. But
Wow.
when I figured out, man, they don't pay. Gospel music don't pay, bro. There's no money in it. There's no money up
Unless you're
front
Kurt Franklin.
in gospel unless you Kirk Franklin. I think Kirk Franklin is the only person in gospel making money, bro. It's no money, and it's a shame, right? But the labels and stuff, man, they don't pay. So I think that's a big reason why I never into it
Okay.
either.
Yeah, when I
Like,
talked to Rodney, he said that he remembered when that even though Puffy doesn't produce, but he doesn't play, but he knows the sound. So he was he had him do a remix, and he said I was coming with my keys, and he's like, no, 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 I just need two fingers on the notes, just simplified,
yep,
because yeah, I was like, man, he's
yep,
just
that's Puff
he just knows how to, yeah,
all day. He Puff Lights is very sparse and simple. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? He don't like five finger chords or none
Yeah,
of
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Just
That's what
keep it
Rodney said.
simple
So
for
just
him.
get to two.
Yeah,
I,
none of that. None of the big complex stuff. Mm-mm.
I wanted
No.
to be, if, as you said, like a Kurt Frank. I wanted to be like a Puff,
Okay.
like I don't play or sing, but it was more of being able to, being A&R,
Mm-hmm.
sort of kind of the whole round. And he was like, when he left Uptown, they almost went, okay, yeah. He took a third of them with him. He changed the game, and he just knew how to make hit. And I thought that's the kind of
Man,
person I wanted to be and stuff.
yeah, yeah, no doubt. Yeah,
Yeah.
he had the formula,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yes. Anyway, when the book, well, I maybe what we do is when November comes and you guys are about to release your new stuff.
Drop the single.
Drop the
Yeah,
single. If you get the video out, we need to go live so that people could ask questions then. But it
let's
was
do it.
yes, definitely. It is 1 o'clock, and I'm on kids ministry in the morning, so
Oh yeah, man, it is Sunday in the morning. Wow, it's
it's
Sunday today. It's Sunday
it's
right now.
Sunday
You need to
right
get some
now.
rest. So you're gonna be in
Yeah,
Sunday school like,
yeah, definitely,
oh,
definitely.
oh, you been at the club last night?
Yeah.
Yeah,
But I appreciate the
no
fact,
doubt.
we got this boat. No, we'll keep in touch. And as I said, when, definitely I need to help promote when you guys drop that first single next month.
Man, that'd be great.
Yeah, I mean, do you plan the video or is it
Oh yeah, yeah, video, the whole bang. Yeah, because again, it's a party record, man.
you
And
singing
and
or
and
just this guy, the guy
oh
out
yeah,
in Finland?
yep. I'm singing, producing it. So I'm like the Teddy Riley of the group. So I'm singing and I'm producing, and Max is like the vocalist, and Aaliyah is like the female vocalist. So we're like a Lucy Pearl 2025.
Okay,
Lucy
okay,
Pearl
okay,
meets
okay. Yeah.
Guy.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah,
know
yeah.
what I mean? So yeah,
Okay, okay.
yeah,
Now I can't wait to hear it. I can't wait to hear it though. Okay. Another
no
from
doubt.
anyway. Well, I will keep in touch and appreciate the time and everything, and but definitely will keep in touch and stuff.
Yeah.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for being a part of Halftime Chat. Please remember to subscribe, share, and comment. But most importantly, why don't you become a member of Halftime Chat? We've got amazing videos, amazing perks, and being able to support the channel. But anyway, thanks for watching. Take care.
I never participated in that category.
And somewhere in between
us for even loving us, on which I did miss you.
What was it like growing up?
She's still making an impact on 4 houses down.
I have a couple pieces.
trying to get this one and that one.
That works for you, but just for me,
No. Okay, you okay?
They don't understand what Jonas Boyz II Men and all
Play it.
These guys, they all work together.
I mean, I love all different genres.